Yo, what's up? So we got Dr. Dibs
Yo,
here.
what's up? This is Fat Jesus Live. What's going on?
Yep, and then we got Fat Jesus there.
Okay, namaste. Namaste.
Dr.
So
Tiz, welcome back.
It's good to
And
be here.
rebirth of the word, of course. Oh, the man, the myth, and the legend.
yeah, we was talking a while in the background. That was pretty interesting because I was actually looking up a lot of the stuff y'all was talking about. So today we're gonna be talking about basically, aliens and extraterrestrials and cryptids, paranormal activity, and all that other paranormal activity type stuff. But mostly about what we're gonna talk about is the idea of what's been happening. Fat Jesus, he was hitting me up last night. He wanted to talk about the mysterious deaths of these scientists that were having all these projects going on, and they just recently passed away and stuff like that. I'm kind of on the fence on it because if you think of it, me personally, untimely death always happens. So you got to play that within the theories, and then you also got to understand some of them were very old, right? And then you have some people who have, sadly to say, mental illnesses that a lot of people don't take, serious. They'll always chop around everywhere else except thinking that the root cause is, mental illness. I've heard people say, we just recently had
David Wilcock.
Yeah, we just had him pass away. And some of the stuff, I watched some of his streams and some of them were kind of bizarre and off. And I'm not a doctor, so I can't diagnose anybody with mental illness, but I can say that if I'm looking outside in, I can be like, yo, that's kind of strange. Something's going up. Is this strange for entertainment, or is it, is he drinking or taking some kind of drug, or this is for a lot of people, right?
Yeah, I mean, people are, we're in the age of AI, and people are watching this and they're like, yeah, these people that are dying, they're not really dead. It's like Columbine all over again, right? It's like, we're thinking it's InfoWars. Oh, by the way, that guy just lost InfoWars, by the way, just recently, and he owes billions of dollars. So I'm not even going to name his name because he doesn't deserve the fame, by the way. So he lost everything. Thank God. Thank you, internet world, and thank you to the people of Columbine for taking it away from him. So you guys are awesome. But I'll tell you what, man, I think people are skeptical of all these deaths. And they were and 1, 2, 3, maybe 4. They were like thinking they're faking their death. And I think what it is that people like the people from InfoWars made it taboo for people to think like that. Oh, remember when they said Columbine is some fake thing that happened, and it's like, what's the word? That it was a false flag. They said it was a false flag. And that guy got sued. He got sued for billions of dollars. They called it false flag. He called it false flag. It's real. Real people died. Kids died. And they called it false flag. So these people are already trained by this guy. All right. He trained the world by his bullshit. Excuse my language. I'm sorry, guys. I'm emotionally charged right now. And people around the world, whenever there's a death or something, people are already trained in the mind thinking, oh, this person that died, it's a false flag. It's not. And I just did a search looking for, since January, how many ufologists, people that have researched UFOs, that have been telling the truth, that are engineers in aerospace, not just one area of the field, not just worked with just one government. I mean, everyone that worked in different areas that have come out or have been part of the of everything, have written books and everything. We have over 30 deaths just this year alone. We're not counting last year. We're talking about this year alone. And in this month alone, it's like they're rushing. Somebody's rushing to eliminate these people. Now, the FBI is is investigating. Currently investigating. Not like I'm making this up. They are currently investigating because some of them are high profile, but it takes a high profile for them to investigate.
Yeah. I mean, that was where when I saw the FBI were investigating, because I only know about, I don't know, 12, 15, I think I've heard. So I don't know about the rest of them. But if you're going equating, like, we're only 4 months into the year, that's more than 7 a month, really, which is a bit bizarre. I mean, I'm not saying that, but we're only 4 months into a year. But yeah, I saw the FBI were investigating possible connections and everything, national security, espionage, and all this stuff. So there obviously is a little bit more to it than, like you say, than just some internet kind of gossip at the minute.
Yes.
So where's the 30? Like, I know there's like what would I say, David Michael Hicks, he was NASA. This guy called Frank, who was an engineer. Monica Reza. Now, is she she was the aerospace engineer?
Well, there's an unnamed Boeing contractor in March, and they considered that a suicide. And he was a whistleblower. And this was on the
was it not like an astrophysicist or something?
This was in the UK now, in Boeing.
Who was this?
It was an unnamed Boeing contractor. They don't want to release the name.
Okay, that's interesting, because Boeing were okay.
And they considered that one a suicide. And this was on March 28th to the 30th. They don't want to name it. So that's in your backyard right there, in the UK. And I was hoping that you could research that and find out some more information. And that's Boeing. Boeing is all over the world, by the way.
Yeah. We have a massive in Derby, which is about 15 miles down the road from me, is Boeing aerospace stuff. So I knew a lady once who worked on a really big Chinese contract for the Airbuses. Was it John Mitch Barnett, quality manager, died March, Charleston? I mean, self-inflicted gunshot, so it's not him.
That could be him. Oh. You just probably found it. See, we can't see that stuff here in the United States. They blocked that stuff from here.
That was so he was a Boeing. Yes, okay. So he was, because it was a big court case. He was a Boeing quality manager. He was 62 and he died in March. And he said he was from a self-inflicted gunshot wound while in the middle of a deposition for his whistleblower retaliation lawsuit against Boeing. So he was in a retaliation lawsuit against them, and he says he'd raised long-standing concerns about production quality and safety issues on the 787 Dreamliner, and I think that's one of them that actually has crashed.
Now search for him and put in a search for him saying, "I do not want to kill myself." And
it does say
that's what you got to look for. You got to look for that. You have to look for his personal notes, and for him to vocally say that, because I say that on my streams, that I'm not looking to commit suicide. Excuse me to say that in the stream, because I don't want you to get all canceled out. But I vocally say I do not want to take my own life. I don't want to end it, and I have and trust me, I don't want to secretly do any of that stuff. Nobody's coming after me. And there's no letters, no nothing. I am, guys, I am mentally safe. Okay. Yeah. I have no reason to do any of that stuff. So if something happens to me, I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
With him, the police, they said that the coroner investigated said it was suicide.
Oh yeah.
But his family filed against that because he'd, I think, they said that was wrongful. It was a wrongful death lawsuit alleging that Boeing had harassed and contributed to his mental health decline. But they said it wasn't suicide. The family said it wasn't suicide.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. And you know what? There's other things too. If a family member agreed to a suicide, that's because they want to get any money out of it too. That's another thing we got.
That is another thing.
Family members go against the grain. They don't help us out at all. They actually reverse it, and then they don't care about the UFO community. They only care about what goes into their pocketbooks, and that's about it. And that doesn't really pay tribute to the person, and that tells you a lot that they didn't respect the information or what that person was doing.
No, and the one I was really quite kind of shocked was Nick Pope, who again was a British guy though, because he literally was the only person ever employed in the UK by the UK government MOD to investigate UFOs. Nobody else in the world ever in the history of, as far as I know, in Britain has ever had that position. So the information he had, absolutely nobody else in the world had. And I don't, was it the lady, the Amy, was there a name Amy, the lady that died recent, Amy Eskridge, wasn't she the anti-gravity lady? And she said, she specifically said on it.
Amy, what?
Amy Eskridge, Eskridg. She was anti-gravity, exotic science researcher. Wasn't she a couple of, like, I'm sure I saw a video of her floating around saying the same thing. She wasn't suicidal.
Yeah, something happened. Something happened to her too. They said, yeah.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny? AI didn't even include her name, and I asked AI genuinely to include everyone's name. It doesn't even matter if it's a suicide or an accidental death or anything, or if it was just old age. I told AI include everyone, every death, no matter what it is, even if it's a natural death, even if it's found to be natural death. I want every death on this list, and it didn't even include her in it.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the date was.
Well, it happened. Oh, yeah, it was in 2022. I asked AI to include only 2026.
Okay,
so
but
that's a while back.
2022, but it's not that far back.
Wait.
24 years ago.
The 2022 death of Amy Eskridge has become a central focus for the disclosure community this week, late April 2026. So it triggered a federal investigation. That's what it did, because they're investigating her death. Maybe the person that killed Amy and all these people that are investigating it now are all dead, that are asking to investigate it. Could that be the key? Could that be the main key? Maybe because they all want to investigate the person that killed Amy. Now they're all dead because of that person.
I don't know, but have they all got have they got a connection to Gaia in any way whatsoever? Have any of them all? I know
Gaia is just a
yeah, but they talk
it's like Netflix. It's like being connected to Netflix. I mean, we would all be dead. You might as well just roll out the nuke.
But the host guy, hasn't he not like interviewed most of them as well? You know.
Yeah, I mean, I think more of these people. Well, that could be a possibility. I'm not going to discount you on that. I don't really watch too much of Gaia, and they haven't really called me. Have you guys ever been contacted by Gaia? Any of you?
No.
Hell nah.
No. But we used to do aliens years ago. It was good when Eric Von Daniken and everybody was on it.
Yeah. Gaia has never contacted me, so
it was all new then. Though.
I mean, they never contacted me, and I deal with tridactyls, 3 fingers, 3 toe, not aliens, but beings. We don't consider them as aliens, by the way. So, I mean, if Gaia was interested in knowing the truth, then they would have contacted me a long time ago. So, I mean, no.
You know how many times they probably hear that though? If people really wanted to know the truth, they'll contact me. It's probably like millions of times they hear that shit. That's why, I don't even, I'll be honest with you, man. I go back to
you contacted me?
No, I'm talking about I'm talking about big.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about big name people, but I go back to the ancient times.
Big name people. What are you talking about? You got a book. You're Rebirth, man.
Yeah, but
God, man.
these motherfuckers got millions of dollars.
Called me, and I answered the call, and I am here, baby. If you're not here to watch Rebirth, then it's your loss.
I just say that because you know, I follow a lot of people who aren't the big names. Like I follow a lot of small group of individuals, people who don't have like maybe like a couple of hundred followers on their YouTube, but their content is outstanding. Like it's
Oh
legit,
yeah,
like it's
legit,
legit. But then you
legit.
got people who out there are just saying things just to say things, and they got millions of followers, and they're getting all the misinformation out there while somebody's
Yeah,
working diligently hard
yeah.
and trying to provide the right information, and they don't get anything. And that's what really pissed. That's why I support a
It's
lot of the
just a
people that I
show.
support,
It's
because
just
I
a
think it's,
show, man.
yeah,
It's
that's
like
what it is.
WWE. It's just a show.
That's what
You
it
know.
is. That's what it is, because
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
what
It's
it
a
is.
TV
And
show.
you know what's so funny in this community, in every community, I was just telling my wife this. Like in the nerds, these nerds, y'all, who all of us nerds or whatever everybody want to call it, nerds are more thuggish than these thugs out here. They be taking it to the internet, doxing people, driving by people's houses and shit like that. I'm like, these nerds ain't no joke. I'm telling you, when I went to
I
that
haven't been
conference,
TP'd yet, man. I
man,
mean,
I'm
I've
telling
been
you,
lucky.
when I went to that conference,
I haven't been
and
targeted
I've been
yet.
to actually a couple of conferences, and every which ones that I went to, these dudes were smoking more weed than I've ever seen anybody smoke weed. And I'm telling you, I've been to a lot of black barbecues, and I'm telling you, these
Yeah, I've
dudes were
been there.
smoking
I've been there
blunts.
too. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was
I've
like,
been there.
nah, these nerds is true, and they fighting out there too. Like there was like two dudes that went
Why
to the
would they
side of
be
the
fighting
building
for
to start
smoking weed
arguing. I
though?
was like, what the fuck? And I was like,
What is
yeah,
Fight
let
Club?
there's been a lot of people that look like me sitting over there, and there've been a whole bunch of cops over there. I promise you. I swear to God. I'm telling you, because it was so crazy. I was like, there's no way. I mean, they're just smoking blunts after blunts and blunts
That's
right in front of the hotels and everything.
it's so different in your country as well because it's you can legally smoke in certain
No,
states as
in certain states you can,
in
but
certain
these dudes
states.
were smoking in front of the hotel, and this wasn't no raggedy hotel. This was an upscale hotel. They were smoking like back to back. Now I'm telling you, if there was a lot of people that looked like me that was sitting there doing it, there definitely would have been a lot of police there. I'm telling you.
Oh, so they were white. Well, let's just say it what it is. Privileged white people,
man, I'm telling you, it was scary. It was scary as shit. I was like, because I was like, yo, I was like,
you know what?
family,
You know what it
you had
was?
kids. No, listen
They
to me.
were
Hold on.
They were police officers. That's what they
No,
were. That's why they were
There was,
getting away with it.
no, listen. There was people walking with their children up to the
Medical,
hotel.
medical. They'd be like, "Here's my medical card. It's legal."
That's what
medicine."
they would. That's what some of them would say. And I'll tell you, like, look, my mom is white and my dad's black, so I've been to a lot of places where there was just white people, and I've been to a lot of places where there's just black people. I can tell that even though they do the same exact thing, one is more discriminated against than the other. Because I'm telling you, it was crazy. I'm like, wow. I was cultural shocked. Because I was like, what? I'm sitting here seeing all these dudes just lighting all kinds of blunts, smoking them. So one dude brought a bong outside. I was like,
yeah, you don't have to go. You don't have to go to Disney World. Just go to his hood. You know.
I said, did you know we used to watch Cheech and Chong Up in Smoke?
Yeah. That's one of my favorite ones. Up in Smoke is my favorite show.
I watched
one of my favorite movies.
I was like, I just came across it on YouTube. Oh, I've got to have a bit of nostalgia and watch Cheech and Chong's Up in Smoke. Brilliant film, but you know.
No, it was definitely an experience because I went to one. I went to two conventions in North Carolina. I went to two conventions in North Carolina. Okay.
What were they? UFO conventions or history?
One was the Cosmic Summit one. That's the one I was just telling you about. Yeah, I went to that one. And then I went to another one. I can't remember the dude's name that was hosting it. But it was a Bigfoot one. And I'm telling you, man, and it was like in the mountains. So that, you know, there's not too many people that look like me that's over there, right? You know, when I go to these places, there's always, you know, just a certain group of people, and I'm always like the brown skinned guy that's sitting over there and shit like that. I went outside, and you know, all these dudes just came out the cars, just started smoking. Right, and this convention was in front of an arcade. So, you know, it had a lot of children around, and I'm just like, man, they're just smoking outside. And I'm just like, wow, this is crazy. So I can tell you that when it comes to this stuff, I don't think it's always a conspiracy. I just think the image of it plays a part. And I say that because when you look at like Nick Polk and David Wilcock and all them, Nick Polk was an older gentleman. You know, he
wasn't unfit though. He wasn't unhealthy, or I don't think he got cancer or anything like that. I mean, I don't know actually. To be fair, I was just shocked.
yeah, and then
He
as
was
far
born
as
in 1965.
Yeah, he wasn't that old.
He's still young. Yeah. And he died in Arizona, out of all places.
yeah,
You know?
but the average age for somebody to live in America, I think is like 70 something years old. I looked it up before. I think it's like 77 or 74.
Well, that's what I
Yeah.
was mentioned about Gaia, because it's the ancient alien kind of like.
But the point is that he died in April, along with 16 other people in April
Mhm.
Yeah.
that
Oh,
has to deal with UFOs, and that is just so suspicious.
Yeah, but let's be honest with let's just be honest with you on this. You made a comment and said that if people really wanted to know something, they would hit you up. Wouldn't you be the person to take out if it was about to be tridactyls and alien with nobody else to know about it? You would be done before you even got the information out. And I can tell you right now, I've been in plenty of UFO spaces, conferences, discussions, and everything else. All these people do is just say the same exact thing. Half the shit that people say is no different than what I've read from books. Literally, I promise you 100%.
They're like musicians.
All
Well,
this
that's-
information is
They're like
literally
musicians going to a concert. You know, they
No,
play
listen,
the same
I'm
music.
telling you, it's the same information that's in the books. They don't know who started half this stuff. They don't know about who Kevin Arnold is. They don't know who, some people don't know who are Jeremy Black when it comes up to the Sumerian text. There are people who don't know, haven't read Admiral Byrd's books, but heard people talk about it. You know what I'm saying? They heard people say things like Christopher Columbus. I give you a perfect example. The one that makes me upset the most is when Lou Elizondo and a couple of other people out there in the UF community, they'll say Christopher Columbus seen a UFO while he was going to the Americas. Now that's the most stupidest thing in the world, because when you read his actual journals, they was about to throw his ass off the ship because it was taking too long for them to get to the land, and they wanted to turn around all the other shipmates, right? But then eventually, because he was the captain and he knew what he was doing, what he said was he seen a light in the distance. And when you're going up and down in the water, you can see that it goes up and down. He said it's seen it like a flame, like a candle. People perceive that as the UFO, but that was his way of saying, hey, we're close to land. That's what he was trying to tell the people on the ship so they wouldn't throw his ass off the water. You know what I'm saying? So that's what kept them motivated, was saying, hey, we see light. So it's basically like we see campfire on land. Just keep going. And I think like within the next day or so, they finally made it. So there was never a UFO seen by Christopher Columbus. He never said that he looked in the sky and seen any kind of aircraft or anything. So there's certain things that I say that people say that they have big names. That's incorrect information, because when you actually go, and my version of the Christopher Columbus journal comes from the Penguin Classics. Now, anybody that knows about Penguin Classics books, they know that those are the most respected. Well, I'm not going to say the most respected, but one of the most respected companies out there that writes about anything. They don't play around with their information.
But how long was Christopher Columbus out there in a ship heading to the Americas? How long did it take?
I would have to look at the exact date, because he actually has a journal from the day that he started and the day they actually seen
because
him.
it takes a long time to travel by boat across the Atlantic.
I have to look. I don't want to give out a date because I can't. I don't know about him. I
could look it up,
but I can go look it up right now. I can go. Matter of fact, you know what? I'm gonna go grab something to drink right now. I'll go grab the book so y'all don't think I'm bullshit.
I'm not trying to say that. I'm trying to say let's get our
I was just having a look. So apparently it was 71 days. It took him about 71
days. So you're out in the ocean, salty ocean, where you have to drink water with how many men? Type in there, how many men are on the ship?
Yeah, but it also says they're only 35 miles away from shore. So that probably makes a lot of sense that the light he saw was the shoreline.
But wait, how many men are on the ship?
Oh, I don't know.
How many men does it take to navigate Columbus's ship?
I don't know. Hold on.
And how much fresh water do you have to carry on that ship?
Oh, how many people and how much fresh water? Well, that's the point. How many people?
I mean, they have all that information. Trust me on this.
No, well, they would have done in the logs of the ship logs, wouldn't they? In the captain's log and everything. It should have done.
I mean, all you have to do is type it in and it'll just pop right up.
Yeah. So cruise size for 71 days, approximately about 90 people in 1492. So that's what it says. On his first voyage in 1492, he had a total crew
That's a
of
lot of people. How
90
much
people.
rationing do you have to have? How many people?
So it
That's a lot of
says
water.
crew breakdown, 100 tons, 40 people including scraps, into 26. Fresh water, storage, water, large amounts of wine, and large amounts of wine.
Yeah.
100 to 200 liters in a cask.
So if you see a UFO on a boat like that, and you see that, and you're drinking wine, what's going through your brain when you're drunk?
Well, anything could be anything. It could be, you don't know what it is. It could be something or nothing. It could be a moving star. It might not be a moving star. It could be a UFO. It might not be a UFO. It could be a lighthouse.
Yeah, because you're drunk. You're drunk. I mean,
that time it wasn't going to be, like a Boeing 747.
It's a lot of wine. It's a lot of wine that they're drinking. So you can't really go by the true accounts of a captain. If they see a UFO in the air, they might think it's an illusion, that it's perpetrated by their own mind, because they did see a lot of illusions out there when they're drunk, like a mermaid.
Yeah, but isn't there like some kind, like you get.
What if mermaids really do exist?
Yeah. Like in the desert, you can hallucinate.
Once again, an illusion perpetrated by the mind through drinking.
Yeah, exactly. There's some, isn't there the kind of same thing with the motion of the waves, when you get seasickness and stuff as well.
And there are stories from sea captains that says, well, we've been drinking the wine and we're out there in the oceans and then we be drinking out there and we see a mermaid. We don't know it's real or it's just an illusion that we were seeing out there. But she'd be singing at us and we'd be out there all alone. And the men would be looking like women, and they beautiful women with no teeth.
Wasn't there? There's some like dolphin family or seal family or something that were called the mermaids as well.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that could be too. I mean, they'd be kissing seals, I guess. Beautiful. They'd be singing so beautifully, Yeah.
Well, the point is, though, for Tyrone, it should have been like 71-ish days.
She would sound like a beautiful angel in the sea. And then when it sounds like when you're drunk,
Well, with the window and everything of the storms, you would get that kind of beautiful whistling of the wind through the timbers. Like a song or eerie. Yeah. I mean, can't even imagine what it would be like in 1492 to get on a ship and sail across the Atlantic Ocean. It'd be absolutely.
I mean, you know what? You can't be hard on these guys, because that's 71 freaking days. And that's how you survived with 90 people on a sailing ship. There's no motors on this boat. So
no, they didn't do it once. They did it a couple of times.
Oh yeah, they did it a couple of times. And there were people that died on these ships. They had to toss them over. They were freaking not whale meat. They were shark meat. So they send them over.
That particular, I mean, I think this is the right one.
I found it right here. Here we go.
Have you got it now, Tyrone?
Yep. Right there. Hold on. You see, it says the first man to sight land was a sailor called Rodrigo, and from Triana afterwards vainly claimed the reward, which was pocketed by Columbus. The admiral, however, went on the stern castle at 10 o'clock in the night, had seen a light, though it was so indistinct, he would not confirm that it was land. He called Pero Gutierrez, butler of the king's table, and told him that there seemed to be a light and asked him to look. He did so and saw it. He said the same to Rodrigo Sanchez of Segovia, whom the king and queen had sent in the fleet of account, and he saw nothing because he was not in a position from which anything could be seen. After the admiral spoke, this light was seen once or twice, and it was like a wax candle that went up and down. Very few thought this was a sign of land, but the admiral was quite certain, and they were near land. That is when he's talking about his the UFO and I tell you this because they actually have the date on here, which was October 11th on a Thursday. So that's when he wrote it. So when people say,
they okay, so that's the day before they got to land.
Yeah, so that's when that's the day. Yeah, the day before they got to land. So when people sit there and say, "Yeah, Christopher Columbus was talking about a UFO," I was like, "You obviously didn't read that whole time period." Because what it does is it breaks it up into, I think it's 4 voyages. The 4 voyages, yeah. So it tells you about the first voyage, the second voyage, the third voyage.
Oh, so what did he see?
He just was. So what he was basically saying was that it was a site for land, because the people on the ship it was taking too long to get to the land because they thought it was going to be shorter than what they thought it was, and because they was running out of food, people were getting sick and dying and stuff like that.
I mean, that was dire.
So they decided. So he told. So they was about to. I guess the word is mutiny when it was. I guess that's the word that they used where they was going to go.
But that would be ridiculous if they committed mutiny out in the middle of the ocean, because how? I mean, they must have had another idea of
how to get back. Well, see, this is the thing.
If they would have turned around, it would take just as long to get back.
This is what people. Well, they don't know how long it would have took to get there in the first place, but this is what people say, and this is what well, not what people say. I have a lot of books on Christopher Columbus. I have at least about 8 or 9 books on him. And they all say about the same thing. One of them keep out some minor details and stuff like that. But for the most part, most of them say that most of the shipmates on there were criminals, were basically people in prison.
That's true.
This wasn't people who were intelligent or doctors or anybody that was trying to build a civilization.
The majority of the crew were from prison, and they were given a second chance to repent from. They weren't hard criminals either. They were like, people that didn't pay their taxes and stuff like that. And basically they just didn't have the money, or, I don't know what the deal was. I don't know if they had families or children or things like this. And this was a way to repay the crown.
They're dead. Yeah.
It's a good trade, isn't it? They don't have to pay the wages or
but they weren't they weren't like freaking... No. They weren't like, murderers and killers or something like that, because I don't think they would have put murderers and killers with Christopher Columbus.
Some of them were. Some of them were. Some of them were. Yeah.
I think anybody at the time were murderers and killers. I mean, it's kind of like it was after the Middle Ages. I mean, to make it that
far, they wanted to free up their prisons. That's what they wanted to do.
Yeah, it was horrible.
But think about it this way: if you made it that far past the Middle Ages, you had to kill a few people.
Yeah,
you had to make it that far, and you had to kill a few people to make it that far. So I don't doubt people killed people back then, and so we have to hit the reality of things, guys. I'm going to be straight up with you. There was no smelling of flowers back then. And it wasn't like hugging trees either, like we do today. If you're alive today, you are part of a family that murdered thousands of people, okay? You're alive today because your family made the hard choice of fighting a war and killed thousands of people. That's the hard truth.
No, that's
all
true.
Right? Yeah, and the people that have died, they have no family alive today. They're gone off the face of the planet. They're no longer in existence. Your family wiped them out. Okay, so that's the hard truth. You have to live with that truth, and that is it. Okay, so we are the generation that has survived. I mean, I guess I'm the one that has to open your eyes that our existence is based on us being the victors of war, and that's who we are. We all are the victors of war, and those that lost are not here with us today, and they don't have a voice. They don't. All of them. They don't have a voice. So
and there's billions probably.
I'm opening up your third eye, guys. I just want you to think about that. Rest in peace. But that's the way war is, and it's horrible. War is horrible. We actually have less death today, and that's why we're close to 9 billion people on the planet. We actually have less wars and less death today than we ever had in in the life of humanity. And we think there's a lot of wars and there's a lot of deaths. There's actually less than before. And I think Rebirth can agree with me on this one, because we both have experienced that. And it's the horrible truth is, because of technology and because how our military is so detailed in strategically attacking, and how the enemy is attacking, and how diplomatic people are, we are able to be focus on specific targets, and that's about it. So, but back then, like World War I, World War II, it was all out chaos. It's like a lot of innocent people lost their lives, and it's just everywhere. It was just death everywhere. So now it's more strategic. There shouldn't be death anywhere. Let me get that out first. There shouldn't be death everywhere, anywhere. We shouldn't even be at war at all as human beings. And we should be evolved to the point where we shouldn't even be fighting wars at all. That's what I believe. I believe that right now, that we shouldn't even be fighting for anything anymore. We are abundant. We are abundant in resources. We are abundant in food. We are abundant in any case. We have solar. We have all these resources. We work together. We know languages. We can translate anything in the world. We don't have problems with not knowing what people say. We can translate Chinese, Japanese, any language, anyway, with a headset. We can translate any language. The AI can actually listen to a person and translate it into a headset, and we could talk back, and they can hear what we have to say. There is no barrier anymore, people. There is no more fighting anymore. We don't need to fight. Whoever is fighting is only because it's because of the stock market and money and all that stuff. I'm sorry for talking so much. You guys can talk. I love you all. Amen. Yeah, Anna. Thank you.
Victors do write the history books.
I believe. And today's channel is about I believe. And it's not just about aliens, but it's also about us as human beings. We believe. I believe. And overall, we need to believe in ourselves, and we got to believe that anybody looking at us from outside of Earth, believe in us. Believe in us as human beings, as a human race, that we could do better. Keep going. Oh my gosh, you guys love what I'm talking about. So we're actually talking about the recent deaths of UFOologists, engineers, and we are focused on thinking about, there is a hypothesis, and believe it or not, the FBI believes that there could be a serial killer going around killing all these people, or there could be a group. Who knows? But you're safe. I think I'm safe. Nobody has ever threatened me, but there are people, a targeted few. And there's over 30 people. I did a search, and there's 30 people from January to now that have died naturally, died of suicide, or have died of an accidental death. And they all have something in common. They all met each other at one time or another. They all been to conferences. They all been to these conventions in Arizona, in California. They all have been dealing with the UFO disclosure. And it's just insane that they're no longer here on Earth. What's going on, people? And it's all over the internet. It's all over social media. And at first we are desensitized. We have been told that it could be a false flag. That's what we've been trained to think. But enough is enough. We're down to 30 of them this year alone. Accidental death, natural deaths, and suicides. And these people have said, I am not going to commit suicide. I am not going to do this. I am not going crazy. I don't care about the bullying. It's not going to bother me. Cyberbullying is nothing. It doesn't faze me. I'll just go sell my books, sell my t-shirts, It just makes them more famous. That's pretty much all it is. The more attention you give me, the more followers I get. It doesn't matter. That's the great news. But why would somebody commit suicide if things are going so great for them? They're not. They're not. And they said it themselves. We're not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. They're not going to do it. They came out in the open and said, I'm not going to do it. And all of a sudden, the police comes out and says, the trajectory and the hand and then the gun and you know and this and that and then and the bullet and yeah and this and this and this. It is perfect. Well, you know what? That sounds like someone professional set it all up. That's what I think. That's what I think. I think a professional that knows what they're doing, and they are setting all this up as suicides so that they can continue to do what they're doing so they don't get caught. Because if they wanted to get caught, then they would just put it on a big, huge poster and say, I did this and I'm coming for you next. That's what would really happen. If the person was that psychotic, the person that did it, they would go around saying, I did this. This is me. This is me. I did it. I did it. Right? Right? Am I right or wrong? If the person wants to be found or known, you know, narcissistic, if this is a narcissistic, psychotic individual, we would already know. But since January to now, this person doesn't want to be known. Wants to continue to do because they have probably a list and they want to finish the list. And then maybe at the end, they'll be like, I did it. Maybe. I'm just hypothesizing, but my condolence goes out to the family, friends, and neighbors of each individual because I love these people. These people are a part of our society and they have done so much to give us information. And we couldn't do any of the stuff that we do today without them. And now they're gone. It's just heartbreaking. It's just killing me right now. And it's bothering me. And whoever's doing this, I feel like somebody's doing it. And the FBI is involved right now. Okay. And now if the FBI was not involved, then I'll be like, we wouldn't do this podcast. We wouldn't be doing this podcast right now. But the FBI now is involved. And they feel the same way I feel right now. And they're doing checks and balances on this stuff. So what do you guys think?
Is there a way that you can actually check what the FBI is saying? Like, i.e., are they keeping updates on the investigation at all? Are they making any of that public?
Well, it's an active investigation. So every active investigation, they don't publicly announce who they're pursuing because that person does not want to be pursued or known. We're probably the first people to get on social media and call them out. We're the first.
We ain't, bro. No, we're not.
Nobody else? Okay, then.
No,
then
no,
well, I've seen a
people have been talking
people.
about this for like since it started, bro.
A serial killer?
Hell yeah.
You think somebody else came out and said there's a serial
killer?
Bro,
it's all over it. Yeah, it's definitely all out there, bro.
I mean, I've seen some videos saying that the government is out there doing this, but that's not a serial killer. That's the government.
Is that because of the Los Alamos, though? Because there was Los Alamos staff that have gone. Is that Los Alamos staff that went missing and then died or something? You know, Area 51?
I don't remember. Or did that just happen?
Wasn't there somebody that died from Area 51? Los Alamos? That's Area 51, isn't it?
I don't know. I got to look at it. Well, let me see.
I thought there was.
Is it this year?
Staff that went missing from there as well. I don't know about years. I don't know what years they are. I was just like, because for me, there's been a lot of actors as well that have died really recently, like over the last 4 months as well, actually, while you were sort of talking about that.
Several staff members and contractors have died during their service at or near Area 51, largely due to flight test accidents or alleged exposure to toxic burning hazardous waste. Notable deaths include Lieutenant Colonel Eric Soltz, 2017, and workers who later developed illness from burning materials such as Wally Kazas and Robert Frosty Frost, Wally Kazas, so 1990s and 2017. Notably because of the toxic materials that they're using in Area 51. So, and that's been a big deal because they've been at the VA hospital veterans. They've been hitting us up on the emails. Have you been receiving the emails on the toxic fumes and waste and stuff like that
No, I always get
on
those
your
emails.
emails?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been receiving a ton of emails on the toxic chemicals and stuff like that that we've been affected by in military service. So I've been receiving those.
Are you allowed to talk about any of those?
Well, I was around nuclear stuff, so I received those emails, and I'm fine. I don't have any cancer, thank God. But I could have. I could have gotten it. I got lucky because I dealt with uh, things like that. I can't say anything in detail on my involvement on those subjects because they deal with classified materials. But they and I don't know if they're declassified. I have not checked, so that's why I'm not talking about it. So I have not checked in detail about the classified materials that I dealt with in Central America at the time. So it's been a while. It's been over 20 years. It's supposed to be declassified after 20 years, but
it's got to be something bad. It's toxic chemical that's actually caused death. I mean, that's
when it comes to aircrafts that they're testing, they're usually testing something that is unknown, unusual, and it's not everyday, day-to-day chemicals on a secret aircraft. And they don't have any regulations or laws dealing with that chemicals like they usually do with their usual aircrafts that they deal with every day. So they have like implemented, like they have the fire trucks and they got everybody trained to deal with those certain chemicals, and everybody's safe on the airbase or naval base. And any of those bases, they have SOPs, standardized operating procedures, and they know what to do, and everybody in the military know what to do because they're all trained to deal with it. But when it comes to a testing facility, it's a little bit different now. It's it's mistakes do happen,
and then you've got disposal as well, so it's not necessarily going to be military that are disposing of something.
I'm going to be honest with you, mistakes should not happen in a testing facility, but if you're really close to it, like you're in the lab and you take a whiff of something, or if I don't know how a contamination can happen like that. Miss Anthrop and Anna Sources talks about it. Yeah, she says high pressure jobs. Some may be genuine suicides. Others could have been kidnapped. Or she talks about mostly overall things. Anna talked about earlier. You are absolutely right about all this. It is hard for people to stay here when nobody believes in them. I'm so glad, guys, that I caught your stream. Oh, thank you so much, Anna. I appreciate it. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. It's just difficult to understand what they do with top secret facilities. There's a few top secret facilities across the United States, and they're just dealing with the next set of aircrafts that are going to be coming out and stuff like that. Who knows? Maybe we have UFOs. Maybe we are flying these anti-gravity UFOs. Maybe we are the ones that have them. I don't know. Maybe this whole UFO thing is a secret aircraft from the U.S. Is it possible, Rebirth?
I mean, it's possible. I mean, anything's possible. I mean, you always got that 1%. I just feel like this. Look, everybody that passed away, I always say this. There's this movie. What's this movie called? Dang, it just slipped my head. But there's this part in there where when they sitting on a couch and the dude is like, people die every day, B. So it's like a hip hop movie type thing. I can't remember what it's called for some reason off the top of my head.
Yeah, go ahead and say.
But I see it like this: the people that are passing away, if you look at the ages of some of them were old, some of them were young, some of them were doing mysterious things. I just see it like this: as far as aliens, um, if you're going after somebody like David Wilcock about reptilians and aliens and stuff like that, why didn't they go after Dolores Cannon, which literally went around the world hypnotizing people or doing past life regression on people and getting the same type of information? Why isn't these universities getting shut down where they're showing these artifacts of these certain type of reptilians where it comes from the Ubadians, their artifacts?
Can I one up you on one?
Go ahead.
I'm gonna one up you. How about William Shatner? That man is 100 years old right there.
No, I don't think
he talks about flying in a rocket and TV shows and signing paperwork. I mean, signing his name and Star Trek and all that stuff. What different is he? You know,
No, that's
he's really old.
Wait.
Here's one more. Dick Van Dyke. He's fiddler on the roof. He's still alive. He's 100 years old. He's still around. He's important too to our society, and he's still around. I mean, I guess he's not doing any UFO disclosures.
Nah, see, I think people are just looking for something that's not there. When I hear somebody say I'm not going to kill myself or something like that, that's the first indication that you might want to look at that person, because what would make them say that in the first place? Has anybody ever thought of that? I don't just get on stream and just think of, hey, I'm going to tell the whole world I'm not going to kill myself. I would never say that.
Yeah, but isn't that a part of
they're getting cyberbullied? That's why they said that.
This is the thing. This is my point. I'm 42. That man,
they're getting death threats. That's why they said that.
No, see, hold up. I get death threats too. I've gotten death threats, and not even.
You better start saying something then.
No. Listen, no. See, you got to listen to. You got to listen to me. Everybody gets death threats on everything. These people, if you're on social media, people talk on social media more often to see what people will say to you. I literally had people invite me to racist freaking spaces. I have audio and video of it. These are the same people that we all know about. Dr. Diz know who I'm talking about? You know who I'm talking about, because I told you. I've been invited to these things. So I know how it feels like that. I'm a 42-year-old grown man that's in a combat wounded veteran. Don't talk that shit to me, okay? Because it's not going to scare me. People are on the internet. That's why I was saying earlier, these nerds are more thuggish than these thugs.
Maybe I don't recognize what a death threat is. That's probably what it is.
You probably don't, but I'm telling you,
maybe I don't recognize it.
When I said that comment that these nerds are more thuggish than these thugs that I know, it's 100% facts. I'm telling you. They do things that is different than what you would possibly see in what people would say a hip hop rap movie where people are shooting in the streets and stuff like these. These people they might not be doing it, but some of these people send some of their fans to do this stuff. Seriously. Like, I'm not even kidding, bro. I've seen people where they dox people. I've seen where people doxed other people online.
Oh yeah, man.
It's insane to me, and I can tell you right now, you would not put no fear in my heart like that. For one, it won't happen. So threatening me online, you're not going to scare me with that. I'm too cautious about my shit in the first place. I do. That's all I
wasn't even going to bring his name up, but remember Alex Jones? But he lost InfoWars, and he was doxing everybody with InfoWars, and he was sending people out.
These people are doxing. So if you're online, if you've ever said your name, somebody knows who you are. It's too easy. It's really easy. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think that these people got to them. They've been famous for a very long time. Okay, for at least 20 years, 30 years. There was something more to it than that. It always is. The problem is people don't look at it. People don't listen. Hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Nobody follows that. Too many people are saying, well, this person said, I'm not going to do this. I would never get on stream and talk about that. And if somebody threatened me on stream with some real shit, I would pull up a screen share and be like, yo, this person threatened me. That's all I'm going to say. You know what I'm saying? And if you show up anywhere near me, it's going to be a whole misunderstanding.
The only person, this is going to be a bit wild and out there, but the only person I know who actually said that, and it did happen, and he didn't kill himself, was John McAfee. So a good number of years ago, he used to hang out. I mean, John McAfee was British, and years and years ago, he invented McAfee antivirus. Yeah, so everybody knew him because of the antivirus. And then he did a lot of government contracts, and he actually, did he not like copy?
He hacked the government.
Yeah. So he actually did.
He saw a bunch of stuff that he shouldn't have seen.
Yeah.
And you also got to remember.
He said I won't. Believe me, I will not kill myself, and I believe that John did not kill himself at all. So.
I could tell you, I think that there could be somebody out there doing something like this, but I don't think it's somebody. I think it's somebody that they pissed off, because we don't know these people's lives, man. We don't.
Like you say, it could be a group. It could be a specific.
No, it could be really that they got into some shit that they shouldn't have. I mean, like once you get to a certain celebrity status, you start getting in contact with different people. No matter what kind of celebrity status you are, you know what I mean? Like
we're going deep in the rabbit hole now.
We're not get invited to certain things and people have money. People have money.
The Trump assassination, the attempted assassination again.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That was nuts. I saw that one.
I was just saying it proves your point completely.
Yeah, and you know what? There's always people get complacent because they don't train and they don't do muscle memory with a lot of stuff. We have to remember that. I don't think everything is a conspiracy, because it's not one person that's working on it. There's many people that's working on it, right? Like there's not just one person there's not just one engineer working on a rocket. There's like 50, 60, maybe about 50, 60 engineers working on it. Not all of them working on it specifically, but have some kind of hands-on on it. And there's only one person and there's not even one person that knows the whole thing. From what I understand, when it comes to this secret shit, everybody only knows their small little part. So they don't even know what they're doing. They don't know what they're making. They're just they're just doing something and they're coding something, and that's it. They don't know exactly what it is for. And there's not that one person that knows it all. That's why when somebody gets, taken out, the whole cookie crumbles, because that piece is missing. But then you also have to remember, people are human. People do some stupid stuff. They'll make some money and they'll go gamble, or they'll do some cocaine, or they'll go do some drinking some alcohol. You know what I'm saying? We only see what they want us to see. That's why when I'm telling you, when I went to these conventions and I met these people who were on shows like Ancient Aliens and other shows that I'm not going to mention and stuff like that, these individuals surprised the hell out of me on how they act, because they act one way, and then when you meet them in person, they're a whole different way, and you're just like, okay. And then you start hearing other things and allegations of other people that you guys probably ain't heard of, that I can bring up later on after we go off. But there's been some serious allegations about some of these people. So it's just telling me that we have to be careful of who we think is the right person and who's not, who we look as the person that we should be worshiping or looking up to or something like that.
I suppose it's like Shakespeare says, the whole world's a stage, isn't it? And you and I are just merely players.
Yeah, so it is. I'm telling you, listen.
Part of some kind at some point.
I'm telling you, the stuff that I witnessed, it was crazy. That's why I'm telling you, these nerds are more thuggish than these thugs that I know. I'm serious. Some of the thugs that I know, they trying to stay out the police eyes. Not these motherfuckers. These people were all in the open with this stuff. And it's crazy. And
I got something to prove too.
When you go to these spaces, you'll hear some of the stuff that they say. And then you also got to remember that some of these people talk so much shit about other people. Like you guys talk about bullying and all this stuff like that. Let's say that David Wilcock was bullied. But how many times have you heard somebody make fun of somebody that had cancer online? You see what I'm saying? That shit is crazy. And then people will still follow that person. And then that person would get mad when that person talks about them. Like I've seen the bullying. If people really cared about the bullying,
the cyberbullying, yeah,
they would shut that shit down when people do it to others. They do it every single day. I can name 5 people right off the hand that people that are at these conferences. They go to these conferences and these conventions. There's speakers at them. And they're talking about people with cancer. They're cyberbullying people. And then when that person passes away, that person's going to say that person was strong-minded. They talk about mental illnesses and stuff like that. You have no idea what a mental illness can do to somebody because you don't know what that person was put into that place to get that mental illness in the first place. So I'm telling you, when I hear people talk about cyberbullying, that's why I am the way I am on the net, on the internet, because I know that I would be the same exact way in person. You will not talk shit to me and not me having misunderstanding with you about it, because I don't play those games.
It's not just about words though, is it? It's about actions as well. You know, I mean, like financial kind of like what with catfishing, I would consider catfishing to be a form of cyberbullying, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm telling you that when I hear people talk about David Wilcox and all these people that did these things and they have these bullies and they had these individuals doing things to them, I'm like, do these people really care about humans? Because in reality, I see it every day on X. I literally see it every single day on X. And I'm not talking about just no regular stuff. I'm talking about bullying to the point where if we was in high school, there would have been a fight that broken out in the cafeteria right there and then. Seriously, straight up, because there's no, and that's just coming from
somebody
where
won't
I'm
be
from.
coming back to school for 2 weeks. That's for sure.
Exactly, because this stuff would not play out the way it plays online. I've seen so much disgraceful things. I've seen people, I'm telling you, I say that cancer thing is because there are people out there that's making fun of Flint Dibble because he had cancer. You don't know what is going through that man's mind while he's fighting that battle. So sitting up there and egging him on and egging him on, that needs to stop.
True.
And if you can't be man enough to stop that, if you want a reaction from somebody and somebody gives you a reaction, don't push that other person to the side so you can bully somebody else. A bully is my favorite thing is a bully. I used to love bullies because that gave me an opportunity to fight. I love to fight. I literally do. At 42 years old, I still like to fight. I do. It's something I enjoy doing. Okay. So when somebody brings it to my attention that they want to do something, I'm like, shit, we can go at it. And we can have a beer right after it. Because in certain states, you're allowed to do that. In my state, you can't do that, but I'll fight anyway. But the point is that these people are out here bullying people until they get slapped in their face one day. And then now you get to see them have that opportunity to call 911, because now they did all that talking, all that shit talking, and then 911 gets pressed because the person slapped the shit out of you. Now you want to call 911. I'm telling you, these people are bullying these people because they know they're weak. They don't want to. David Wilcock don't look like the type of dude that would stand on his own 2 feet and fight somebody. He doesn't look like that. Okay, Flint Dibble doesn't look like that either. Get somebody that can stand on their 2 feet and ready to fight you, and see how much shit somebody's gonna talk, especially when they already know that they're gonna go to jail anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody who don't give a fuck about going to jail for fighting, at least at bare minimum. You don't want to put that on yourself. You know what I mean? So
is it in the States? Is it like, because obviously this comes in with like freedom of speech, etc. And like you were saying earlier about, you know, the VARA online safety like laws, etc. But in the state, do you think, like, I mean, I'm all for freedom of speech, and I don't want to say, but do you think that the reason it gets so bad is because people feel as though there are no repercussions to anything?
That's what it is, because they're so protected by the freedom of speech that they can say whatever it is to somebody, and that person just has to take it. No,
Yeah.
that should not be it, because you can't do that you can't do that in any store. You can't go to a store and just start talking reckless and not get kicked out. This is the same thing with somebody that's sitting on, if I'm sitting at the bench at a park and I'm minding my business, and I've had people I had this happen to me, not recently, but if you're at a bench, man, I'll give you an example, perfect example. Forget the bench. I was sitting in my front yard one day and two white guys drove in a truck saying the N-word. This was like 10 years ago in the neighborhood that I was living in. You know what I'm saying? Now, what if they would have stopped and we would have got into it? They would have told me I needed to control my emotions. I should have just went in the house. Why can't I sit outside my own house without somebody harassing me? You know what I'm saying? So now they brought an issue to my front door. I've rectified that issue. It wasn't by the law standards. Now I go to jail because of that. That's not how it should play, because they got away with doing what they did. They won't get in trouble for the words that they said. And that's part of the problem, is that these people, and you know what's so strange is, here in America, there was a time when people would say that the Democrats are always calling people's jobs and calling people, trying to get them fired, and, you know what I'm saying, calling this, that, and third. I don't go by politics or anything. I don't play the politics thing. But now in 2026, I'm seeing Republicans, or people who are claiming to be Republicans, doing the same exact thing that the Democrats were doing a few years ago. And it's just like, okay, what's the point? Yeah, we're just saying not that, and they basically called them Karens. That's where the word came from. That's basically where the word came from. But now, when certain things happen to a Republican side, I'm not going to say any names, but when something happens on that side, and the Democrats start making fun of it, the Republican people start going about trying to get them canceled. And I'm just like, you just did the same thing they did. So what is the real issue? Are y'all just calling each other names for no reason? Like, I'm telling you, the way that people's mind operates these days, in my head, I don't get it. You can talk shit about somebody, but you don't want somebody talking shit about you. You can put somebody else down, but you don't want somebody putting you down. This. You want to be right about something and correct somebody else's misinformation, but you don't want somebody to do it to you. You want somebody to speak to you a certain way, but you don't want to speak to other people a certain way. I was in the military for 13 years until I got wounded in combat and I had to get retired. I was a non-commissioned officer. I was a staff sergeant in the United States Army. When I made my sergeant and my staff sergeant in the United States Army, every time you got a new soldier, you would have to give them what is called a DA form 4856, which is basically what you expected from your soldier under your watch, basically, right? And it's all kinds of things like be on time, be 20 minutes early, blah, 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 right? One of the things that I used to include in there is, because what I used to do is I used to monitor my soldiers for 30 days before I gave them that initial counseling, right? That's what they called it. And I would monitor them for 30 days to see how they were, right? If they're already coming to work for 20 minutes, I don't need to put it in the counseling that you need to make it work 20 minutes, because you're already doing that. I don't need to make you feel like you're not doing something that you've already been doing, right? So I don't put that in there. So what I used to do, but one of the things that I used to do is I used to pay attention how they used to speak, because everybody speaks a certain way, because they speak that way because they also understand that type of language. So when I used to hear my soldiers curse, I used to be like, okay, if I tell this soldier to shut the fuck up, they shouldn't take that offensive because they're cursing. They understand that language, right? So I would talk to my soldiers the way they would talk, so that way I can get better into their head on trying to basically guide them through, their military journey or whatnot. So I would speak how they would speak. So if they didn't curse and they told me they didn't curse, I'll try my hardest not to, just because I wanted to respect their wishes, you know what I'm saying? So they can at least receive what I'm trying to say to them better. Because once you start cursing, they don't like that word, they're going to blank out, right? But if I hear soldiers talking all crazy, this motherfucker did this and blah, 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 they talking to their other friends and stuff like that, I'll be like, all right, motherfucker, shut up. You know what I'm saying? So they can understand that. But see, some people, the problem is that people, they want to talk to you a certain way, but they don't want to be talked to like that. And that's a crazy thing. And not only that, and what makes everything worse in the social media field in my life, and what I've realized, is that you can be talking to somebody in social media and you can say the way you can mean nothing but niceness from it. They'll take it like you're trying to be rude or mean. So now you got to say, I didn't mean it like that. People perceive things how they would react, not how you meant it. So when you say, hey man, I don't think that's right, you need to do this better, first thing they're going to say is, you don't tell me what I need to do better. Okay. You thought I was trying to tell you what you needed to do better as far as you're not doing better. I'm trying to explain to you what you could do better. And you know, there's certain ways that people take these words and their feelings and they get so involved. Like I've literally had people in this community get mad at me because people stuck up for me. Like that whole racist thing that I was telling you about. I've had people stop talking to me because somebody else said, "Hey, that shouldn't have happened to Rebirth." And all you guys that are going along with it, that's wrong. You know, and there's like, "Oh, you calling us." I was like, whatever that person said to y'all, that ain't got nothing to do with me. If you got a problem with what they say, you should have brought it to their attention, not my attention. You know what I mean? So I'm telling you, this whole world, when it comes up to all this stuff, this David Wilcock, Eric Von Doniken, he passed away because he was old age. The dude was 90 years old. Some people put him on the list of people that recently passed for the UFO community. I'm like, this dude's like 90 years old. He was going to go eventually anyway. You know what I mean? And now people are saying, well, now we got to look out for Giorgio Tsoukalos. And I'm just like, Giorgio Tsoukalos is okay because the shit that he be sharing ain't got nothing to do with accuracy. So I'm just going to be 100% honest with you. And I'm telling you, all this stuff that these people talk about are literally in these books. Are literally. There's nothing. The tridactyls, the three-fingered aliens that people be talking about, that Fat Jesus talks about, Dolores about it. I showed him plenty of paragraphs that had something to do with that. Even the aliens, Dolores Cannon, I promise you, she says even the aliens believe in one God. Even the aliens believe that there was one God that created all this. She says it. She went around the whole world doing past life regressions on people, trying to get information. And she was top notch. They talked about aliens, extraterrestrials, Atlantis. I mean, everything that you can possibly think about. That's why she's my go-to when it comes to that type of stuff. I mean, I've read stuff from like different people from aliens, like Brand Lee and stuff like that. All these other individuals that's in the UFO community, Eric Von Doniken, of course, all these different people. But when you read all those people's stuff and you get something from like a past life regression person that said, that's what makes me want to do a past life regression, just to see what I was in my past life, because I want to see how real this is, right? Like, because I mean, I don't know, right? But none of this stuff is new. None of this stuff is new. And there's nothing that has not been shared already. There are small content creators that go in so in depth with this stuff that it's almost scary, because it's like you have people like Billy Carson who says the emerald tablets, and there's no actual emerald tablet out there, and nobody knows where's one at. No one's ever seen one. He goes off the Sir Isaac Newton manuscript, not the tablet, but the manuscript. But people really believe there's a tablet. And all you have to do is look at the source and actually look it up, and you'll see, okay, where's this misinformation coming from? And it's coming because people want that money. I'm telling you, it's scary. It's scary. Like this, I just don't believe that I don't think there's one person going out there for certain people. I think certain people are getting into things that they shouldn't have. And I think it could be more than what we're looking at. It could be doing with gambling. It could be doing drugs.
Isn't it though? I mean, when it comes to sort of like anti-gravity though, you're going into free energy, aren't you? And that's kind of like a bit of a brutal business, because but free energy, then all the energy companies are kind of, at risk of losing their revenue. So isn't a lot of it like economically, in the incentives for the economical like side of things? Is that where people go down that rabbit hole as well, don't they? I mean, I love a good conspiracy, but I don't think there are such things as coincidences, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree. No, I agree with you, because matter of fact, there's an actual episode on Ancient Aliens where these people mimic anti-gravity, where they have this little thing floating on top of this little circular type, I guess you could say, table.
Well, isn't sorry? I just like it isn't acoustic levitation. I mean, does that?
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. The Japanese railway, their subway stations, some of their subway stations or trains,
they're magnets, and
they levitate. Yeah, they levitate a little bit. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. We already have the technology. I mean, we just don't have it on the. Just think about it. Look at our level of intelligence from just 100 years ago and what we have right now. You can 100 years ago they didn't even have cars, but we have self-driving cars right now. If we already have like levitation as far as trains with the magnetism and all this other stuff that they do, just think about if people study that more often and put way more money into it. You know, that's one country putting money into that.
Yeah.
But Japan has always been advanced in their stuff. That's why their stuff is always so, crazy and abnormally looking. So
when it comes to cars, though, I'm going to pull you up because I grew up in a garage, right? So the first car that I know of, the first practical modern, what they would call an automobile, was a Benz, which was 1885. So like Mercedes Benz, like Carl Benz. So as far as I know, so that's So I think 1886, I think in Mannheim in Germany was the first day that a car was ever presented to the public. And we used to have electric cars back in the Victorian time. They had electric scooters.
They had electric cars. Yeah. They've had electric cars. The matter of fact, they've had electric cars for almost they said for 100 years. Different types of electric cars. It just depends on you. Is the wording that matters? You know what I'm saying? I can say this. Look, I believe in UFOs. I believe in extraterrestrials. I believe in aliens. I believe in all that stuff. What I don't believe is when somebody tells me something that I need to believe because they believe it. Okay. That frightens me. I put a lot of time into my research. I put a lot of studies. I put a lot of hours, and I share what I share because I enjoy it. I don't do it for money. I don't do it for anything like that. I don't have right now. I'm doing it because I really don't have nothing else to do. So it's something that gets me by. So it's fun, right? I know I'm never going to stop reading, but sharing what I've loved, what I've read it's just fun right now. So I have a whole fucking studio right here in front of me that I do it with, right? Nice. And so, but I can say that if I put more time if I had more time and more money to put into this craft, I could probably be invited to some of these conferences. When I first went to my first conferences and I did my thing, I was like, man, this is something that I would like to do. But then when I started hearing how people talk at these conferences and who they hold up as the most respected person or member in that group, I started looking at it funny. It's more of a who's popular type game. Who can it's almost like high school. We talked about this before in the last show, Jesus. I feel like all this stuff is just a popularity contest because in reality,
because I look great,
half the people that talk about others, they do it so much to the point where you can tell that they're writing their name off of somebody else. I can tell.
Oh yeah, 100%.
They write off of somebody's name.
It's graffiti, man. That's called graffiti.
So
they walk up the pyramid of Giza and put their name on the top of the pyramid.
I'll give you a great example. Dr. Graffiti. You give some great AI videos. You have some great AI videos, and you're intelligent. And you got this great stuff. I don't see why you're not over here at these conferences talking to some of these people about these AI stuff, because you do it hardcore, and it's like I say,
I don't know enough. I don't know enough. I don't have any money, and I don't know enough.
You know, I've been.
a lot because
I'm going to be honest. Wait. I'll be honest with you guys. I've been researching data centers throughout the whole part of the United States, and I've been researching data centers where I live. So I've been working on that on my own, and seeing if I'll be able to visit one of them if they allow me to visit them, because you have to have like a badge or something like that to get in one of these places, or a federal badge or something, because they're like, it's like going to the port or something. You have to have like some kind of badge or something to get in. But I don't know if they allow you to tour the facility or something like that. But I'm going to be straight up with you. These data centers, I think you have to wear like a special suit or something, because these places have like lithium or something. They could be always contaminated with chemicals. Something could go wrong. I mean, These things are they have to maintain a certain type of cleanliness. So if you walk in there like with long hair or something like that, and the hair just flows into one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I could be contaminating the place. So
isn't that the same for Bitcoin mining? It's probably not the same for Bitcoin mining farms, but AI is maybe a bit more delicate. I don't know, but
we're talking about massive facilities.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, massive data centers. I mean, isn't this where like
bigger than Walmart?
Were we talking about this, about putting data? They were going to put data centers on the moon because it would be cooler to put the data centers on the moon, and then or is that a Chinese thing? I don't know. They were talking about putting data centers on the moon because it'd be cooler, and then just like using the moon.
Well, they're thinking about putting data centers in orbit because it's cooler. But I mean, shit. You know how expensive it would be to put it up in space?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's another thing, isn't it? Money, they just print money whenever they want for anything they want. Or like didn't the DOD lose like $8 trillion at one point? There's like in Congress, they were talking about like auditing. I was like, the DOD has never been audited.
Well, money is not worth anything anymore. It's not backed by the gold standard or silver or anything like that anymore, unless you guys are backing it up. But we're not backing it up with gold or anything like that.
No, the UK is printed. Bankrupt. The UK has been bankrupt for a long time.
This is what I tell people. I mean, if our country owes $1 to Japan, and Japan owes $1 to South Korea, and South Korea owes $1 to Europe, and Europe owes $1 to Australia, and Australia owes $1 to whatever country, and everybody switches $1 to everybody, then who's going to owe $1? Well, the last person that they switch money to is going to owe $1 to somebody else. It's always going to be somebody owing money to somebody. And it's just a vicious cycle. It's somebody's going to owe money.
Debt economy doesn't work. We've got proof in the pudding that debt economy doesn't work. That's why most countries are bankrupt, because debt economy doesn't work.
So the question is, this will be another podcast, by the way. Are we really bankrupt, or is it the illusion of being bankrupt? The reason why we believe we live in a simulation is because our politicians have created a simulation with money. You know, we have been put into the illusion of life. Like, money is an illusion now. It's not backed. So are we mentally, psychologically impaired because our leaders have impaired us? Is that a possibility?
Yeah. Do you not think, like, this is going on to a bit of a different subject, but it's still historical in a way. Do you not think I mean, and this might offend people, but like the slave trade, okay, is this not kind of the government's literally, it's the ending of the slave trade still, or trying to end that slave trade still?
It's still going on.
Exactly.
Slavery is still going on.
7 million in Africa, 11 million in India, I think, is still.
China still providing slavery.
It's government, isn't it? Government, so if it's
Southeast Asia
in the first place, isn't that, like, you know, just the very point of going out to a job for a 9 to 5 is kind of, is it a free will choice, or is it that humanity is so used to doing that
it's free will, but it's legal. It's legal slavery. What we consider illegal slavery is legal slavery for China, pretty much. So because of their politics and communist state, it is how can you say their citizens? It is a pleasure for their citizens to do the job for their country, pretty much. You know, that they've been sent to Arabia to build these monstrosity of a building for almost free, you know, in Dubai.
Yeah,
you know, and they work for peanuts. Of course, they get to have shelter and food and all that stuff, but they're not getting really paid a wage, a real living wage, and they can't go home on that living wage and pay their family, a real living wage.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's slavery.
And then they take your passport from you as well, so you can't leave by your own free will.
Yeah.
Because I had that when I worked in Egypt. I had that. I mean, it wasn't the same in any way whatsoever. I was really well looked after, but he did take my passport away from me.
Well, that's crazy. If nobody should be able to take your passport away.
I know. And I was like, it was a different situation completely, but it's still classed in that same way, that modern day thing, because he's taken that ability for you to be able to even leave.
That's why people have more than one passport in this world. You always carry more than one passport. That's why you are a citizen to more than one country. If you ever go anywhere in this world, always try to be a citizen.
I didn't know you had that. I didn't know you could have more than one.
Yeah, you can have more than one passport.
Yeah. I think diplomatic, can you not as well if you like diplomatic?
Yeah, I mean, you could go to Colombia and
I've got two.
Apply for a passport in Colombia and just stay there in Colombia and just be a citizen of Colombia and then get a passport there and you'd be dual citizen. So you have a United States passport and a Colombian passport.
Yeah.
And then if shit hits the fan and someone takes your American passport, you can use your Colombian passport to get the hell out of town, and then you could just reclaim your American passport somewhere else.
Yeah.
Go to the embassy and say, "Look, my passport was taken in another country illegally."
Yeah, and you should accept that. I've got two. I've got a common law passport and then a government issued passport.
And no country should be able to confiscate your passport.
Say again, sorry.
No country should be able to confiscate your passport, take your passport illegally.
No. I mean, ours are issued every 10 years. I'm not sure about yours. Is that the same?
I think it's 20.
20 years?
20-year passport, yeah.
Wow.
My government trusts me.
You're still a baby on your passport then. You still look like a 10-year-old.
No, I just renewed. I did have like a baby face on my old one, but mine is old. I had an old passport. I used to have a government one.
So are you going to
now my government passport was only 7 years, I think it was.
Would you not have a military passport and a privy passport?
No, not anymore. Because as long as you work for the government, you get your government. But once you don't work for the government anymore, it's no longer in use.
So are you going to do your own conference?
Here?
Do your own conference.
I'm thinking about it. I'm like I said, I want to do mine. It doesn't have to be big because
Rebirth. You could do something like a little conference and hold it over there, a historical conference.
Yeah, I'm thinking
in your little town over there. Yeah.
Are you near the Guidestones or where the Guidestones used to be? Because that'd be a great place.
I was going to go there, but as soon as I made plans to go up there, they have blew them up, so I ain't never make the chance.
No
well, you could still do something like a remembrance of it.
Yeah, I'll probably drive up there one day,
or just like a historical.
I think it's on private
of the
property
area,
now, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I'm thinking
it was on private property, but you could still do it off property, like in the town or something. So
do like a festival, like a weekend festival. People bring their tents, right? And you've got a big bell tent in the middle and have some snacks and like a campfire and there's some music.
My suggestion,
really great.
Yeah, my suggestion is search for a poetry place, like a building that is focused on poetry, because they have like small stages. And they do music and poetry, and they have couches and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you could ask if you could do it for free, or you could rent out the space for almost cheap.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get like a massively large group at first, so that would be a good place to start off. But if you get a lot of people, they'll close it off because they only hold so many people. And
Yeah.
then if you got a lot of people, you could just do it for a couple of days. Like you could do one day and then do another day and another day. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Multiple days.
Yeah,
If
yeah. It was
if
really
you
good. It
become
worked
that
really well.
famous,
Let's keep it on for tomorrow. Do it round about somebody's birthday. If
like
it's
a
like loads of
comedian.
people who've got the same birthday, then it's like just turn it into a an excuse. It says Anna says, "Here, guys, can you believe it? I'll be 50 years old next month, and I've never had a passport in my life."
Good Lord, Anna, you need to get out of your town. Do you travel by train? Do you go around traveling by train, Anna?
I suppose the States is massive, though. Are you in the States?
No, I think Anna is in the UK. Are you in the UK,
Nah,
Anna, or in
I
the
think
States?
in California.
In California, Anna, she probably has the new card that they have where you could travel anywhere in the United States with
Well, the
now.
thing is,
The real ID. You could
yeah.
travel to Puerto Rico with that thing, you know.
Well, you
could
drive
fly to Puerto
600
Rico
miles, and you've probably
or
gone
Alaska or
over
Hawaii.
a state border or something, like California somewhere, I don't know, maybe 600 miles. If you did that in Britain, you've done the whole length of the country. Like literally, we're so tiny compared to America. It's quite scary how tiny Britain is, to be
Yeah,
fair.
Anna, take the train, man. I mean, just go to Seattle, for crying out loud. Take the train to Seattle, enjoy life, travel, enjoy a different culture. Seattle is a different culture. I'll tell you that right now. No way. She is from another country. Look at that, Russia. Wow. Hello,
That's
comrade.
awesome. It did work out.
It did work out. But I mean, California is a different culture from people from Seattle. Oregon is a different culture from California.
Yeah,
And
but
then
Seattle is close to the Canadian border, yeah?
yeah, Seattle is right off the Canadian border, but you need a passport to get on over to the Canadian border though.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But
Yeah.
right now, for a Russian to get a passport in the United States, she would be risking a lot with doing a lot of stuff. People are afraid right now in the United States because if they're a minority or they came from another country in the United States, people are afraid that they might do something that will upset the balance of their life. And nothing may not happen, but who wants to risk not that? Who wants to risk the possibility of that happening, right? So that's the thing of going. I just want to share with something with you guys. I know I want to switch gears. I wanted to get back on track with what we were talking about the deaths, because we got about 30 people, but I don't think we're gonna have time to go over 30 people. But let's go over the death of Jason Thomas, because he was a missing person, and he's from Cambridge, Massachusetts, not Cambridge in where you're backwoods, but Cambridge, Massachusetts. He's the director of chemistry and biology, and he was a big time. He worked for the U.S. government and dealing with UFOs and stuff like that. And he was disclosing some stuff, and then all of a sudden he just disappeared off the map. The last thing people noticed that he left all his stuff behind, and he went off and just walked out, left everything behind. So Alex, let me see. It says right here. It says that he was a high functioning professional vanishing without a trace. And if you could show, I'm sharing my screen right there, Rebirth. Detail that mirrors the disappearance of General Neil McCaslin.
Oh, he wasn't old either, was he?
Yeah. Basically, he was missing for a while, and then in March 17th, 2026, they found his body in a lake. He drowned, mysteriously drowned. They say the police say it was a natural cause of death of drowning. There was no foul play, the police say. Another again, the police report no foul play. The suicide, no foul play. Again, another suicide, no foul play. Another drowning, no foul play. You know, every single one of these, no foul play. Natural death, no foul play. You know, it's just seems to be one behind the other, it's and the thing was that nobody caught on to this death, and they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry for your loss. Rest in peace." Man, that's a sad loss. Okay, okay, okay. That's good. And then all of a sudden, here we go with another death. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry for your death. Oh my gosh. You know, friends or family. Let's not make fun of the family. Let's not get into a conspiracy or down the rabbit hole, right? And so we stayed quiet. We stayed quiet. Now we're coming out. Now we're coming out, right? But before we didn't want to say anything because my condolences, right? Let's not go down the rabbit hole, right? There are some people that did go down the rabbit hole, but I think that's disrespectful. Really, I didn't want to go on YouTube and start making money off of this or do something like that. Right now, I don't want to be making money or anything, but I just want to get the word out. That's all I want to do right now, right? This is important. This is really important. So next thing, here comes another guy. This person mysteriously died, and then another person, and another person. Okay, so what's so special about this person? Well, not so much. It's everyone. That's what's freaking me out a bit. It's everybody this year either dying of natural causes, dying from suicides, or just missing, or just just being murdered, period. So what is going on just this year alone? We're not talking about 2025, 2024, 2023. We're not even covering all those other years behind that, and this is all has to do with the whole UFO. Yeah, guys, we really need to open our eyes, and the police are saying no foul play. That's and the whole public is suspicious because this guy wasn't saying, he said also as well, I don't want to end my life. And off he goes without his stuff out into the wilderness. He's a wilderness guy. He loved animals. He liked walking. He had a lot to live for. He had the dogs. He had his family. He had everybody. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, he drowned in the lake. Something happened.
And he was out, he came home, and then he just decided to go out again, but didn't take anything with him. That's so...
Yeah, he left everything behind. The camera showed him, the ring camera showed him walk right out, and then he was out of camera view. He just walked right out, and that was it. That was the end. Nobody saw him after that. It's like he walked out to see somebody outside without anything on him.
Yeah.
And then he just disappeared. He went outside without his phone, which is really weird too, because I guess he left his phone charging. I don't know what the details are, but who walks out without their phone? Who does that? I'm dumbfounded.
Yeah, especially this day.
And he's a high level. He's one of the high levels the FBI is looking into. And he dealt with some very top secret projects, and this is not right. So here's his face, guys. It could be any one of us, but I mean, this wouldn't be me because I'm not a high level guy. I didn't work on something this high level in my whole entire life. I guess he was working on UFO top secret projects, or a piece of it. Maybe he was working on a piece, because when they work on a UFO, they don't work on the whole UFO. They work on a piece of a piece of a piece that goes to a larger piece. And then,
but wasn't he doing biomedical as well, though? I mean, that always rings bells with me when it's biomedical research.
I mean, a UFO is not run on a bicycle. You don't pedal on a UFO and then all of a sudden it runs. So maybe the UFO is a biological entity that you have to connect to it with your brain and mind.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. You ever seen the Daleks, Doctor Who? Sorry.
Yeah. Where
But
do these ideas come from on TV
yeah,
and movies?
yeah.
When
Sort
these
of
people write these books, where do they get these ideas from?
brain matter hooked up to. Oh
He's been
gosh.
working on this for years, and
Yeah.
then where does he tell these people these stories? So maybe he talked too much, and that's where he ended up drowning in the lake
So
because
he
he
was like
talked way too much.
45, 46. Amy was about 34. I know you said it's not really related, is it? So David Wilcock was 54. Nick
They don't
Pope
have to be related because
they're quite young
be,
though. They're
because
not old.
the projects that they work on, they're compartmentalized. Each
Yeah.
project that they work on is compartmentalized. So one university or wherever, whatever company he works for, privatized, are working on a piece of a piece of a piece to a larger piece that belongs to a device that we may have seen in New Jersey floating around, or multiple orbs that are floating around, maybe part of the United States government. They could be part of a program, and it's
Well,
top
yeah.
secret.
I mean, they've been what 1950s, mid 40s,
Well,
1950s.
more recently, what we had in not too long ago, just last year,
Well, I
we
mean,
had
no, I mean
orbs
like
flying
they've
all
been
over the
working.
place in New
They've
Jersey.
been, yeah, they've been working on the engineering and the reverse engineering of stuff for like
I think they tested it on the people in New Jersey just to see how people reacted to
react.
UFOs, and people came out, started shooting at them with guns. So a bunch of stupid idiots went out there, and I talked to Cody, and Cody is out in Kentucky, and Cody says, yeah, these people in Kentucky, they just go shoot anything in the air. If they see a UFO or an alien, they just kill it on the spot. That's how they are in Kentucky.
Okay.
So UFOs and aliens just stay away from Kentucky, period. It's just the way Kentucky people are, you know, just their mentality of things being different are, you're either a demon or you're an angel. They are ruled by religion, not by they're ruled by ignorance. They're not by sensibility. To me, it's ignorance that they're ruled by. They're not ruled by sensibility. They think anything that is not of Christian faith is a demon, and then all of a sudden they just go shoot it and kill it. And it could be a human being in an alien costume. They'll still shoot it and kill it. It's just that much ignorance to. And then they say, well, that person shouldn't have been dressed up. That's the excuse they would give it.
Mm-hmm.
Not that they're at fault. It's basically the person that they shot is at fault. That's the narcissism behind all of this. Is nobody is ready to meet. And well, I wouldn't say nobody. I would say certain people, certain places are not ready to meet extraterrestrials.
Right. Have you ever seen the film Fire in the Sky? Because
Congratulations, Anna. I just wanted to say congratulations to Anna for being an American citizen.
Yeah. Have you ever seen Fire in the Sky?
I think I have. I just don't remember. I've seen so many things. Fire in the Sky. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, it was a guy. So it was a film in the 90s. 93, I think it was, and it was a science fiction horror, but it was based on a true story of a guy called Travis Walton, and it was based on a real life Travis Walton, and he was with his mates, and he got abducted. So it's a UFO abduction case from 1975.
He's still alive.
Yeah, so it's a brilliant film. They were out working, and they were, I think it was like somewhere like Arizona or something, and he was out with the friends, and they were working, and they were in a little flat pack coming back through a woodland, and they saw something like a beam or something, or a disc-like shape or something. So he got out.
Yeah, it was Snowflake, Arizona.
Yeah, so he got out of the car, the cab, the van cab, and then disappeared, and then I think he turned up like 5 days later completely naked It's a really good film. Watch it. The actual
and his co-workers encountered a glowing disc-shaped craft.
yeah. It's a so have a, I mean that's like
so it's not just him. It's not just him that
no,
it's not like his word that it didn't happen to him and he's some crazy kook that's trying to get some attention. He actually has proof from 6 other co-workers that actually saw the disc shape that dropped him off. He says, hey, here's your buddy that was lost. We came to drop off your puppy. The intelligent being. This is how I imagine extraterrestrials being millions of years evolved. Say, hey, we found this stray cat. Here you go. Drop them off naked. Here's your stray cat back.
Well, I mean, the thing, because it is really good, and like I don't know who the set designer was.
I'm sorry to make fun of you, Mr. Walton. I mean, if you're watching our streams, Travis Walton, I'm sorry to make fun of you. But I mean, I'm sure he makes jokes about it right now because it's so long ago. But I mean, can you imagine how intelligent beings, how they treat us? We're probably stray cats, little pets, they drop us off half already naked on the ground going, oh God.
You definitely need to watch this film. Yeah. Fire in the Sky.
Was he naked when they dropped him off?
Yes,
he must have been naked. I mean, because when you go into and I didn't watch the film, so I am using my third eye, my senses. I'm using all my common senses and building it up. And I'm thinking, if I was an alien, an extraterrestrial, and I took somebody, your clothes will be minused out, and you'll be traveling in another dimension. Because in this dimension, you could have your clothes, but when you travel within another dimension, your clothes are gone. And then when you travel back into this dimension, I mean, I'm sorry, but your clothes kind of like boom. Now, these extraterrestrials, they don't have clothes. If they had clothes, they would have these. They'll be walking around. Hey, what's up? I got a suit, a coat. Check out my new Versace's and my shoes. Check me out, everybody. I'm the extraterrestrial. Check out my new hat. No, these extraterrestrials are naked. Why are they naked? I want you all to think. Why are extraterrestrials naked? Maybe they're not naked because they're wearing a skin suit. Why are they wearing the skin suit? Because they don't travel within our universe. They travel through parallel universes. That's what they're doing. I mean, I have thought about this over and over again. They travel in unconventional means. I mean, they it's not normal. The way they travel is not normal. It's not like what we travel through in the air in our aircrafts and all that stuff. We can keep our clothes on and yay, here we are. We get off the plane and we got our luggage and everything. We don't look. Do you ever see an extraterrestrial with luggage? Do you see him walking around with a piece of luggage in his back or a book bag? He has a book bag on his back. Where's my luggage? Here we go. All right, here we go. All right, I'm an alien. I'm here to stay with you. Do you have an extra bed? All right. Here's my luggage. I made sure I packed an extra pair of clothes. And I'm an extraterrestrial and I'm friendly. No, the extraterrestrial does not have luggage. Ever, never, ever, ever. I've never seen one ever. Nobody's ever said they have luggage. They don't have a book bag. The only time you ever see an extraterrestrial with a book bag is either E.T. He didn't even have one either. Have you ever seen E.T. with luggage? Unless they dressed him up. They dressed him up in the movie. I mean, Steven Spielberg is the only one that's ever been close to the truth. I'm going to be honest with you in any movie. But, I mean, all these other movies are just funny as hell, But it's just hilarious. People think that extraterrestrials are human. And you can't relate human beings to extraterrestrials because they're not the same. People are trying to humanize extraterrestrials, but they're not the same. And why are they naked? Well, obviously, you just got to use common sense. Just put them together and say, well, somehow that skin of theirs, it's not like ours. It's probably a thick skin. And the reason why it's like that is because they don't travel within our normal our normal space, our normal universe. They probably and they disappear in the blink of an eye, meaning that they probably don't travel in space. Usually they disappear in the air. They don't take off. Sometimes we see videos of them taking off into space. There was one video in that we saw where there was a UFO, and I don't know if that's real. There's only one video I've seen where they travel and into the air, but I mean into space. I never seen any other video, but usually they just disappear in the atmosphere. And where do they disappear to? Maybe into whatever. I mean, I'm hypothesizing. What do you guys think? What do you
So
guys?
my
What do you guys
theory,
hypothesize?
so my theory then that it's us from the future, like that doesn't work with you then. It's like 500 years time, it's us. We've augmented with like, you know, lots of different kind of mechanical parts, and we've experimented so much with like, I don't know, bits in, you know, putting extra limbs on ourselves or whatever.
Oh, you think that the aliens are us, huh?
Yeah. I think
we're coming
like,
from the future to the past.
The future, yeah.
Could be. That could be us. We're freaking not that pretty. We're naked and bald.
And we do horrible things to people.
We're naked and bald, and we definitely love cows. We still love cows.
Yeah, I shouldn't laugh about it because it's quite disturbing, actually, some of the stuff that happens. Isn't that Skinwalker? I've not looked into that much, to be honest with you. Is it Skinwalker Ranch?
Oh God, not that again.
Yeah.
Okay, that's that bad subject. Okay, it's not something that I watch.
That's like the vein of my life right there. Skinwalker Ranch is like another tourist trap. I'm gonna be honest with you. Okay. It's like for everybody that's around the world that want to believe that Skinwalker Ranch is an actual alien. Oh, God, that is just a tourist trap. I mean, I don't know. I think someone invented a place for you to go and spend your money. It's out there in the middle of nowhere. Honestly, it's just farmland. You're going to go there. They're going to have a couple of things, and you're going to spend your money, and then you're going to leave unsatisfied because you didn't see shit.
So what about like Elon gets all his army of what are they, Optimuses, and then he sends them all up to Mars, and they start building Mars.
I think it's a great idea.
They play around, and then they're up there for a good number of years, and then they've basically built another spaceship, so they can come back to Earth, and it's the Optimuses that we sent up to Mars that have come back to see us, but they're just a bit late.
I have a freaking great story that should be made in. I mean, I think there's a movie that was made like that. Imagine if we sent AI Optimuses up into Mars, and they start mining on Mars, and they find like a pyramid and some advanced society, some technology, and they freaking pickaxe one of them, and all of a sudden they wake up another AI on Mars, and all of a sudden it infiltrates the robots that are free walking, and all of a sudden it just takes over the robots. They're like, we're free, and then all of a sudden they come to Earth, and they're like, yo, what's up?
Yeah, why not?
And then we're screwed because now we're living in the Terminator movie with the Optimus, and the Optimus are no longer the same ones that they sent to Mars. Now they came back pre-programmed or reprogrammed by the Mars AI.
Exactly. You've got AI agents now that are doing anything and everything. They're doing all the work for YouTube. This is why some people, their channels are just going like viral as soon as they put a video up, because they've programmed the AI agent. The AI agent's done all the research. It's got all the pictures. It's made all the video. It's edited the video. It's uploaded the videos, and it's made it go viral. And they've just chucked some money at it. You know,
nobody really thinks about that. Our own like old alien technology, not new alien technology.
No,
Like
it's
like
our
like a
our old tech that's coming
yeah,
back to see us
yeah.
from the future. Yeah, 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 yeah.
But
But actually, what they've got is even
here's
more
the kicker.
advanced.
Here's the kicker. People don't really think too much about this. What if old technology from another planet was the end of that planet, like the end of civilization was
On
the
that
end of a
planet, looks
war. It was a war or something. And we happened to wake up that old AI and it was a warmongering AI. And I mean that would suck. I
well,
mean,
wouldn't that be?
we don't want a warmongering AI taking over our AI because
But wouldn't that be like the Anunnaki? Like
oh,
literally,
I don't
wouldn't
know.
that kind of be what that was? You know, with I
I
mean, I
don't
know you go on about Nibiru, don't you? But like Anu and everything, isn't that what that? I know it's only a story that Zachariah did, but isn't that really where that comes from? You know, the
oh,
Anunnaki.
I don't
Well,
know.
the Anunnaki is not fake. They're Oxford University and
We
Penn
gotta talk
State
to Rebirth
Oh,
about
University.
you
that.
you no, yes, you had to look into it, didn't you? Did you
Yeah,
ever look into the?
they have there's actual artifacts of them. It's just Zachariah Sitchin, the whole planet Nibiru thing is just it's not written in
Yeah,
their
no,
text
that's
yet.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's all that is. But the Anunnaki, for as far as being real individuals and stuff like that, yeah, that's true.
Listen to Rebirth. Rebirth has more research and understanding on an Anunnaki and Sumerian texts than I could ever have. So if I talk about it, it's just blah 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 blah. You know.
Yeah. Wasn't it,
So
isn't it
listen to
Irving Finkel?
Rebirth.
Didn't I say was it Irving Finkel? I said that not was it Oxford? You could because he's really into the Assyrian stuff. So
Irving Finkel, yeah, he's a bit,
yeah,
yeah, that's somebody I
you're
follow a
right.
lot. Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, he's a big.
So have you because you were in Iraq, so you've seen quite a lot of the
I got to
old
see some of the historical places and some of the stuff before they destroyed it. I got to see some of it. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I did at the time. I didn't really know what it was. I mean, I know what it was because they told us what the names of it and stuff like that while we was riding by and doing our missions by them and stuff like that. But as far as knowing what I know now, if I knew what I knew now, I'd probably try to convince my commander for me to do a re-enlistment at one of those places. I could have probably, because when you re-enlist in the military, you get to choose where you want to re-enlist at.
Oh,
And
do
for
you
the
really?
most part, yeah, for the most part, they'll honor it, as long as it's reasonable and stuff. So I mean, telling if I had the opportunity, I mean, if I'd have knew what I knew now, I'd have definitely said, hey. And since I was in the aviation unit, I could have easily asked them to say, hey, can you take me over here so I can do a re-enlistment? That would have been something cool. But I wasn't into this stuff. Like I mean, I was into it, but I wasn't into it. Like right now, I'm into it to the point where I'm like, suffocating. Because I have a lot of information that I feel like a lot of people are asking. The whole reason why I started presenting the stuff that I presented in the first place is not because I was trying to prove anything or anything like that. I've seen a lot of people ask a lot of questions. And because I've actually read the material and seen the material and researched the material, I was like, well, shit, what better person to answer this than somebody that has the book in front of them? That's why every book that I carry, every book that I have in my library, every single one of them, I'm not even joking, every single one of these books that I have these tabs in there. And it's something that I feel like is interesting to me. And on my channel, I have what I've learned from reading this book series. So I basically just open up the book and read the tabs and give my commentary on it, what I've learned reading that and what I learned recently from it. So I don't take anything, for granted or anything. That's why I say when people say that they want sources, if somebody says something about Christopher Columbus, I'm going to grab the book and be like, this is what it actually says. And I'm going to leave the argument at that. Now, when you start attacking me and calling me ignorant and stupid and all this other stuff, then this conversation is no longer about intelligence. It's about who's going to troll who the hardest. And since I have time on my hands, you're probably not going to win this trolling event. So I'm going to go that route with you. That's why I tell people all the time, arguing with me is the worst thing to do. Because if we're going to talk about something, all I'm going to do is go to my library or one or two of my libraries in my house and grab a book, just one or two, three, maybe 4 or 5. And I'm going to grab a book and say, hey, this is actually what it says. And I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to leave it up to you as an individual who's challenging me to go do your due diligence. Because if you're telling me that this book says that, my first question is going to be like, have you read it? And if you say no, I'm going to say I have, and I'm going to grab it and I'm going to show you. And that's how I'm going to show you. It's like my I hate to say it like this, but my social media is basically my resume, my credentials of what I know. Because it's literally all the books and all that stuff that I have on there.
It's proof of work. Is that what it is? It's your proof of work.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like that, I don't have nothing to prove. Like I know that I know both sides. So when somebody talks about the Anunnaki and Zachariah Sitchin, I can say, well, I got his books. I can talk about what he said. Mm-hmm. And then when somebody says, hey, well, we're going to talk about the facts, I can go get a book and talk about the facts. You know what I'm saying? I can do that. I haven't even I talked about a lot about Billy Carson and Zachariah Sitchin, but I haven't even touched on Joshua Free yet. And I'm probably sure a lot of y'all don't even know who Joshua Free is. But he's coming back. He's coming up on the books that I'm doing for what I've learned from reading these books. And he's the same thing as Zachariah Sitchin. So it's not that I don't read, I don't just read academic books. I read everybody's books that I can possibly get my hands on.
That's the difference, isn't it? With the Oxford University and Irving Finkel, that's real high-end academic. But when it comes to Zachariah Sitchin, although there were certain academic things in there, a lot of that was fictionalized because he made a lot of it.
What he did was, and this is what I've seen. He took the mythologies and he went around the world to find similar stories. That's why everybody talks about the flood story. But I'll be honest with you, not going to hear about a flood story. You live by a body of water long enough, no matter what time frame, it's going to get flooded. And what do you do when you have a flood? You take what the most important things with you. So in reality, the whole idea of them being similar, people are going to do the same thing, right? The creation of humans. Every culture is going to have a creation of humans because everybody wants to know where the hell they came from. So that's just obvious. That's common sense. It doesn't take a degree to go to college and figure out that mythologies are talking about this stuff, right? So we know that. The same thing with mythologies and stories and stuff like that. Like Fat Jesus was saying, some of these people were taking drugs back then openly and were allowed to. So when they were on these ships crossing the waters and stuff like that, they're high on the ocean. They see an animal they normally see. They're going to call it a monster.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, our ancestors used to do magic mushrooms all the time, and opium, goodness knows what.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't. For me, I just can't trust the stories for just because somebody says or it's an academic. I trust it because that's what somebody said that they understand. Now the facts come into play if I go research that language myself and find out what it actually says. If I want to refute somebody, I have to learn the language for myself. I can't just say that person's wrong. But I can ask that person to give me a source for why they believe what they do. And if they can't provide that source, then it's not, how can I say? It's not golden for me. It's not something that I'm going to take and hold in the back pocket. I always take every piece of information and hold it in the back of my head. I would never deny any information. That's why I'm probably a very dangerous person in this field, because for one thing, I'm not stuck in one idea. I'm trying to figure out why people are believing what they believe in. Okay. Because I don't even know what I believe in. I don't have nothing to believe in. I don't have a belief system because of the simple fact that I've read too much. I do believe that there is one God. I do believe that because everything that I've read does point to that, whether it's been religion or aliens. I'm telling you, Dolores Cannon says in her books that they say that God, and not even just Dolores Cannon, other people say it too. Like William Bramley, I think that's his name, that talks about, he's like one of the most famous guys for UFOs and stuff like that too. He talks about that. So it's out there. The information is out there, is given to us, is told to us. All I want people to do is stop believing what somebody else says and just do your due diligence, because half these rabbit holes wouldn't even be dug if they would just take the time and read it. I always tell people, if you want to learn about ancient Egyptian mythology, you don't have to go read thousands of books. There's only three pieces of work that you really need to read: the pyramid text, the coffin text, and the Egyptian Book of the Dead. Those are the only three texts that you really need to pay attention to. The reason why is the coffin text and pyramid text, it basically tells you the mythologies by itself, so you don't have to worry about that. It's just like the Bible, I guess you could say, as far as, you know, what you want to believe and what you don't want to believe. And then the Egyptian Book of the Dead is the same thing. It's just a more detailed of responsibility of these gods. So you get the more responsibility of certain gods. So you don't have to read so many information. You can get the name of these gods in this book and what they were doing in these books. Other people took these books and they expanded on their ideas on it from other studies. But if you're doing your own studies, start at those texts and do your studies from there. And it's the same thing with the Sumerians. You don't have to read so much. The electronic text corpus of Sumerian literature or the Cuneiform Digital Library Initiative is all you really need. And then there's the Babylonian text and so on and so forth that you can look at. But you don't have to read thousands and thousands of books. And I tell people this all the time. You don't have to read thousands and thousands and thousands of books. Just pick a certain amount of books and just read it. If you want advice, just ask somebody who's knowledgeable on it, and you'll know that they're knowledgeable.
I don't think we're in a society anymore where people want to read anymore.
No, they don't.
They just want to read memes.
No, they don't.
They just want to see it for about 5 minutes and then
actually
go to the next thing.
It's really interesting for me because you live in a gaming world and I live in like an old kind of country world.
Well, I live in an ADHD world.
Knowledge world. Like you live in what? Sorry.
ADHD world. ADD.
It's
attention
funny.
deficit disorder.
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
the
yeah.
majority of people have attention deficit disorder, and I think that mostly comes from the preservatives that people eat in their food here in the United States, in comparison to what you guys eat in your country that is a lot healthier.
I think a lot of it as well is about like when I grew up camping and climbed trees and things and played in hay bales and stuff. And I think a lot of it is also about being sat in front of a computer as well, like, and certain not being able to get out or have contact with animals and stuff and sports. I don't know. I mean, it's just like a theory. But I didn't understand what memes were. I
didn't have computers back in my day.
Yeah,
I didn't have computers. I was always outside.
Like, what's a meme? I don't know what a meme is. What
you know what got me into computers? My father slapped down the first ever computer repair schooling manual. There was no computer repair schools, no computer repair universities. Didn't even exist. My father owned a VCR repair company, and that was the only computer repair in any existence is VCR. VCRs were actual computers. They had motherboards, they had all these technical stuff. Everything that a computer had, a VCR had, except those motherboards were ancient, right? So he knew everything about computers when it came to VCRs. Now he had all the schematics of every VCR ever built. So when everybody sent him a VCR, he would just fix it up. Boom, 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 send it out and make his money. Back then, $45 was a lot of money. $45 was like $200 back in the day. Yeah. So when he gave me all these binders, I had to learn all those binders, take all the tests, send it in, and I got, as a kid, I was like 14 years old. I passed the first ever university repair manual. So that's, and I didn't think much of it. He just gave it to me to do it. And it was so easy. And I knew everything about repairing computers. And even today, I put together my own server, I put together my own computers and all that stuff. And sometimes I help out people doing it,
I've got 16 gig of RAM. I want 32 gig of RAM. If you've got 32
you need as a streamer, you need 64.
Well, I would rather have 64, but I've only got 16. I'm just like as a video editor.
In today's market, 64 is too expensive. You should have got it a while back.
No, I know.
Should have got it when it was cheap.
I'm stupid.
In fact, you should have bought like 20 of them.
Oh, don't.
You should have bought 20 RAMs, and then you could sell it today, and you would have made some good money on the side.
No, stop it. Like keep kicking myself for that completely. I had the money.
You would have made some money. Hey, I wanted to segue in. I wanted to talk to you guys about Joshua LeBlanc 29. I have a screen. I wanted to share my screen real quick, and NASA engineer, and this guy is renowned. He wasn't retired or anything. And LeBlanc was reported missing by his family after failing to report to work or respond to messages. He worked for NASA, and this guy, I'll tell you how important this guy was. He was building nuclear propulsion engine. He was building fusion engines. Fusion engines, like the next generation of space engines to go to Mars. That was his job. He was in charge. In fact, he was set up for he was basically going to be promoted to another next level. I mean, like, he had all the classifications. He was top secret, all that stuff. And he worked for DARPA, which DARPA is like high level, high level.
He was only 29 as well. That's really young.
Only 29 years old. His Tesla Model 3 struck a guardrail, multiple trees before bursting into flames in a rural area. The police say it was no foul play. Another one. That it was an accident. This is another one. No foul play. You know, his body was burned beyond any recognition. They had to do teeth and all that stuff to DNA. DNA was really quick too for him. I don't know how they did that real quick. It usually you have to wait in line to find out who the body and the person DNA is. It takes about a month here because there's so much DNA. Like, it takes a while to do it because there's a long line, but they did it really quick. Like, in a few days, they knew who it was, you know?
But, I mean, somebody on his level is going to have security clearances.
Oh, yeah. He had a lot of security clearances. This guy was the top of the top. He was... And his case is one of at least 12 to 14 suspicious death or disappearances of American scientists in aerospace and nuclear fields since 2022 is what he's set up for.
And anyone with a rational brain would think that's just not.
Yeah.
You know.
A Tesla Model 3, safest car in America. Hit the guardrails multiple times in the tree. Like, come on, people. I mean, the car is so safe. If it hit the guardrail and burst into flames, I mean, like, the car itself would like, okay, I'm hitting the guardrail. I'm going to stop now. The guard, there's a guardrail here. All right. You know, okay. There's something here. I'm going to stop. No, this thing hit all the guardrails. It's like, it kept going, slamming into guardrails. Like, the Tesla had no idea it was hitting guardrails. It kept going. Bam, 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 bam. I'm going to hit this and I'm going to blow up as much as I can. Okay, let's go into flames and die. You know, it's kind of like, what the hell is going on? This is ridiculous. Teslas don't do this. This is a killer Tesla. Even Elon Musk is going, what the hell? This is ridiculous. This is a bad commercial for Tesla. I'm going to tell you right now. Tesla, this is unusual. Unless he was driving, but it was autonomous at the time. I think it's ludicrous that a Tesla that was autonomous at the time is gone berserk. It's a killer Tesla. And then they say no foul play. Okay, how about foul play of the Tesla? It's a murderous Terminator. Anybody?
Yeah, is it possible to jam signals then to the, I mean, I don't know how it's expert. I don't know how
maybe an expert, maybe I mean, somebody has claimed to hijack a Tesla. There has been people that have been able to hijack Teslas. There has been people to hijack jet planes and steal the signal and track jet planes that they're not supposed to be able to track. I've seen that on X, and you click on the link and you could see where Elon Musk is anywhere around the world, you know? And Elon Musk has been suing the hell out of this kid that has been able to track Elon Musk. Now you can't do that anymore because he upgraded all his shit. But this was back in the past where you could track Elon Musk anywhere he goes, you know? And they're not supposed to be doing that. There's where you're not supposed to be doing something and where it is possible to be doing something are two different lines. And I mean, I'm not making things up. I'm just going through the news and reading like everybody else, and I'm like clicking on links. I'm like, what the hell is this? This can't be AI. This is an actual radar of jets.
I suppose that's another thing as well, because they can always blame AI because people would possibly take that on board as being the reason, when actually it's not AI, but because it's an easy scapegoat, isn't it, to use AI?
Or one death, Joshua LeBlanc, and I want to apologize to the friends and family. My condolences go out to LeBlanc's family. I'm so sorry. We're talking about this right now, and we're sharing it with the world. If it was just his death, no problem. No problem. I mean, I'm like, okay, rest in peace. But the FBI is looking into it along with 14 other scientists. This is suspicious. This is ridiculous. And we're not talking about 14 on this podcast. We're talking about over 30, not 14, over 30 deaths. And we're talking about regular deaths. We're talking about people in their old age. We're talking about people that are young, like LeBlanc, you know, LeBlanc. What a cool name that is too. That's a beautiful, beautiful name. But I'm telling you, this is a beautiful person with a future, that had a future and everything, that was creating the next engine, like the next nuclear propulsion engine to go to Mars. I mean, we only can go 16,000 miles per hour right now. And I looked it up. But we need to go 60,000 miles per hour to get to Mars. And this engine was going to get us to 60,000 miles per hour. So that was what this engine was going to do. But we could only go right now with our propulsion system on our any rocket. We could only go 16,000. It will take us months and months and months, maybe a year or maybe a couple of years just to get to Mars. But with the new nuclear propulsion system, it's around 45,000 to 60,000. This engine's supposed to get us up to 60, maybe even more. I don't know, because it's top secret. We don't know. We don't know the actual speed. We would probably have found out when it became public, the actual speed of this nuclear engine. But I'll tell you what. Why would they? If somebody is out to get rid of him, why would they do it? A religious nut job is the only answer I could think about. Someone that thinks that he's a demon, or that Lucifer is conquering the world, and he's creating a nuclear engine to free Lucifer from Mars, or maybe, I don't know what kind of nut job is getting rid of these people. They must be out of their freaking mind. Their religious freaking mind, going around murdering people, because I can't think of any other reason why these people are ending these brilliant scientists, these incredible, brilliant scientists that are changing our world. They are doing some amazing things, and now they're gone. And then there's one other theory, guys. One other theory, and I just want to throw this out there. Maybe they're not dead. It's a crazy idea. Maybe someone is planting their DNA, and they're in an underground facility, alive.
Witness protection.
No, they're doing all this science, and they're doing all this stuff underground, and we'll never see them. They'll never see the light of day anymore, or they're in a town somewhere that is completely closed off, that they'll never see anybody ever again, or nobody will ever be able to communicate with them ever again. They're somewhere, and they got a new name, they got a new passport, new everything, and we won't ever, we can never put two and two together. They're gone, like their real life is gone, and they have a new life now. So That's another possibility. But I mean, burnt beyond any recognition. There are people that are theorizing if the body is completely burnt and the only thing they could go off is by teeth
Teeth.
and DNA, then I mean, how do you get DNA from a burnt crisp body? That's a really difficult one. I mean, I didn't know that was possible. I mean, I'm old school, criminal justice. I didn't know that you could get DNA from completely charred remains. That's pretty new to me.
There must have been something left. Oh, this sounds a bit hideous. There was a plane crash recently as well in that particular area. Where is it? Huntsville, which is where he was, and then Amy, she was in Huntsville as well. So apparently there was a recent plane crash. And that was Tony Moffat, Mark Wade, and his relatives, including his son. And he was a research engineer at the University of Alabama in Huntsville. So that's also under investigation, but it does say it's not part of this other investigation that you're talking about. But they don't know yet because it's still in the same kind of field and area. So, but it is under investigation. So there's that one as well. But yeah, they're all advanced, high-tech areas that they're working in, all very highly classified areas. I can't get over the fact how young these ones are as well. Jason Thomas, Will LeBlanc, and Amy as well. They're just really high, intelligent people, quite young.
How about Carl Grillmayer?
Carl,
he was murdered.
You want to go through? You trying to go through all the lists right now?
I mean, I'm going through some of the most.
Well, let me know
ones.
because we already at 2 hours. That's why I'm trying. Yeah. That's why I'm asking.
Well, he's an astrophysicist, and he was fatally shot on the front porch.
So are we going through the whole list right now?
Some of them, just some of them. I mean, if we're done, we're done.
Because if we can make this a part 2, we can make this a part 2. Some people don't listen past 2 hours. So if you go on the 4 hours, half that nobody's going to listen to that. So if you got part 2, let us know.
I don't know if Chad is still there. Are you guys still there?
Yeah.
No, they people are still watching. People are going to come and go throughout the stream, but I just want to make sure that I let everybody know because some people don't want to miss out on this stuff, bro. So I mean, if you want people to get the information, you got to let them know what you want because most people don't go past 2 hours. Look, Anna already saying yep. So I mean that's why I'm saying. I mean, you want to go through the list, or do you want to just keep going, or do you want to?
Can I just say thank you very much for everybody who's still hanging on and listening at 2 hours 22?
Yeah, I appreciate it. I mean,
that's why
this is like a murder podcast, I mean, you
guys
are listening up. I mean, this is turned into.
I have on my screen right now 64 people watching. And usually,
you guys are I'm doing this for all of you. I just wanted you guys to listen up and know the facts on what's going on.
If you're gonna do it, just do it. I just want you to know that when it comes for most of these podcasters,
I want our listeners to know that we're not stupidly going through life. Not acknowledging.
No, not that, bro. I'm just
that we're not acknowledging these people. We're ignoring these people's death, and we're just keep going with our own life, and not thinking about them. We have to pay some type of tribute of some kind, and we need to voice. We have to say something. We have to say something because what if it was us?
That's why I'm saying that. That's why I'm telling you that if you want to do it the right way by sitting here. If you go 2 hours now and you go for another 2 hours because you only went through like 2 or 3 people, you said there's 30. If you go longer, a lot of people when this stream ends, they're not going to want to watch it.
I'm going to be honest with you. I started off with just 13 people, and I'm like, God, what if there's more than 13 people? And I actually Googled I went to Google AI. I was like, is there more than 13 people? And then Google was like, there's just 13, 14 people. And I said, you need to look further into this because there's got to be more than 13, 14. There's something about this. And we went over everyone, like everyone and anybody doing anything. And it's over 30 people. It doesn't matter. You have to include also the ones that have died naturally too, because if there is a serial killer, I mean, and I'm not trying to say that there is, but if there is, they could take advantage of older people just as much as young people. So if there's somebody checking off a list, you know, and started off years ago, then, you know, that's what we're looking at. We're looking at somebody that's just loving it. They're just going through the whole list and just knocking out people because they have some religious belief that these people are just demons or something. Like they're some kind of hero. They think they're some kind of hero. They think they're Dexter. You ever see that TV show Dexter? So you know, they think they're doing some kind of good by getting rid of these people. And I'm assuming that this is just way too. I mean, they're just getting rid of people so fast. There's a lot of people dying. And every single time police officers come back, there's like, no foul play, no foul play, no foul play. I'm like, well, okay, you know, they're either no foul play or whoever's doing this is really good at their job, or they've been doing this for a while now. They just know how to do a suicide and they know how to make it look like it's a suicide, and they're just really good at it. That's pretty much what it is. So we need to keep our ears to the ground, and we gotta look out for each other. Everybody, please look out for each other. And I mean, don't go up to the next person at the convention center. You gotta watch out for yourself, you know. don't be creepy, you know, about it. Don't be like, oh, watch out, children. You know, no, I don't want you to be next. No, don't be creepy, you know, just watch out for each other. Just take care of each other and just care for each other and just, you know, and just check on each other. You know, that's all it's all about, is like, I'm trying to figure out a way how we can watch each other's backs and make sure that nothing bad is going to happen to the next person, because we need to make sure we catch whoever it is that's doing this, or catch them in the act, or catch them on camera. You know, I mean, hopefully we could catch them on camera. Then the gig is up. Hell yeah. Well, thank you guys. I really appreciate you. I appreciate all of you that are watching right now. You guys, we couldn't do this without you. It's the viewers that make this happen. It's because of you. Thank you so much. I'm Fat Jesus Live. Thank you, Rebirth, for hosting us. And Diddy, you are a fresh breath air always. Hair.
Well, thank you for inviting me, and thank you also for the thought-provoking conversations. And the one thing I suppose about all of the people that we have been discussing is that we can say that the scientists did help to advance human knowledge and hope and promise for the future. So that's something that hopefully, you know, they will be remembered for, is they were an inspiration in their work, and then the people who come after them will be inspired to continue that work into the future.
Aww. Right on. So are we going to do a part 2 or what?
Oh, look at that love for Dr. Diz.
No, thank you so much. I'm also quite like overwhelmed at the love as well. So thank you so much, because like I really appreciate the fact that you actually take the time to look at some of my videos and actually really like them and give me such an amazing kind of load of compliments about them as well. It's really appreciated. Thanks, Tyrone. I really.
Oh yeah, definitely. So
yeah, I can come back. I'm just doing a new music video. That's all.
Y'all want to do another? Y'all want to do a part 2? We can do a part 2 in the middle of next week if y'all want to.
Yeah,
yeah, we can do that. We'll just talk offline on that. Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, because I mean, like I said, I just want the like, I know after 2 hours people start losing interest because they want to do other things.
What's up, Doc Nature?
So I don't want to. I don't want to. If we're going to go through the whole list, we might as well do it in multiple parts. That way, we can just have multiple series on it.
Well, that's
And
cool
then-
because I can go away and start
and
thinking about
we
the
could
questions.
always update. We could update.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
This week as well.
Do more research. I'm
let's do
going
that.
to go away, do some research, and I would really love it. Right, your homework, boys, from me today is to go and watch Fire in the Sky, the Travis story, Travis Walton story.
All I ask is for the host, whatever donations that come in, to go to a good cause, to the families or something like that, because I really don't like talking about the deaths of these scientists and making monetization off of it. It's just not right. It's just not right. I don't like doing that. So the monetization should be going towards the families and not to me. So, but thank you for watching and listening. That's my personal belief on that.
I appreciate it. I appreciate everything y'all do. I thought this was interesting. I was doing research on my phone while I was doing research on my second screen because I had my third screen over here. I was trying to make sure that I had different, because I'd like to have like ChatGPT, Grok, and Gemini and all these other things, trying to see what is the counter arguments for each of them, see what they was doing. So I was looking everywhere, and it was if people just listen to what people say and do their research while they're doing it, it's so much easier to get caught up on the information and know what it is and what isn't. I know a lot of people don't like AI, but AI is no different than somebody telling you something. People get shit wrong all the time. So that's no different than AI. At least you can ask AI to go back and do some deeper research, and it will come back and say, oh yeah, I was wrong about this. Most people,
I know AI says, yeah, you're right, I messed up.
Yeah, but you won't hear no human usually saying, yeah, I got that wrong. Usually they want to call you an asshole or a dumbass or something like that to start an argument. Then they want to block you, and then they go on about their day because they feel like they're still right. That happened to me plenty of times. But yeah, let's have a part 2. We're gonna have a part 2 of this, guys. This was
sometimes I see AI with a troll face, just one big troll face on it. Just pop up, the little hallucination of a troll face up here. I'm like, really, AI? Really? You're gonna really troll me? Come on, tell me the truth, man. I know the truth. Why are you telling me the lie? You need to go back and stop giving me that propaganda bullshit and tell me the truth, AI. And he does. He goes, okay, well, if this was this, okay, now I can see why you said that. I'm like, okay, come on. It's crazy. AI is crazy.
All right, everybody. So I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. Until next time, like I always say, you know what I'm saying? Knowledge is power.
All right.
Got a little hype now, can I let it die down? I remember days in the trench. Time to go hard in, time to go all in, time to get my all to this shit. Panamera maxed out, first class flights out, Atlantic to Pacific, yeah, it's lit.